Yo, this is DPS Podcast. That's Damage Per Second Podcast, episode 266. We are back on a fine Thursday night, feeling all right. Feeling like we about to fight with some arguments. Well, I don't know. Maybe you are going to fight. I don't know. I haven't talked to Forte since last week. So I don't know what Forte thinks about any of the stuff that's been going on. So we're gonna have a very, very candid, open conversation. We might have a special guest coming through as well. So look out for that. But Forte, Mr. Gamer Forte, what's up, bro? How you been, man? What you been doing?
Uh, Sick. Oh, I'm sick right now.
Oh no.
This border was terrible. It's like you know when you like the night before when you like your nose starts running and you feel stuffy and then you feel like this weight on your chest and you feel like, oh my God, it's happening. It's happening. So yeah, last night was terrible. Took some NyQuil, then this morning took DayQuil, then popped some Tylenol, and then took DayQuil and went to work. And I was feeling, and I got to work, and this is the thing, I had to go to work early because my daughter had to be to work at 10. So I dropped her off and just went straight to work from there like an hour before I had to be there. So I was sitting there like in a fog for like probably 40 minutes before the store opened. It finally, I guess the medicine finally kicked in, and I could do nothing but couldn't wait for 5 o'clock. And guess what, SloMo? I was supposed to leave work at 6, but I was going to leave at 5. I still didn't leave at 7 o'clock because by the time 6 o'clock hit, I was feeling better. It was a bunch of stuff for me to do. So I feel a lot better now, but I can feel it coming back on a little bit. So I need to take some NyQuil after this podcast and go back to sleep. But outside of that, everything's been good. Been playing some Pokopia. Been playing that. Been playing Pokemon Fire Red. I was thinking about picking up Crimson Desert, but I think I'm going to wait because I think a lot of people are. I think a lot of people are excited by a lot of the misinformation out there about this game, or lack thereof, I should say. Console footage not being shown forever, and it's a whole nother thing with that. But yeah, so I was thinking about picking that up, but I said I'll just wait and see. If I do buy it, it's gonna be on PC, so it's not like it's not like they run out of digital codes, so I ain't gotta stress to get a physical copy of the game or anything. And then I also been playing I played a little Battlefield, jumped into that. I'm starting to fall off that game now. Like, the crazy thing is, I think this is one of the best Battlefields they made, but I played it less than I played 2042. Like,
And why do you think that is?
For me, I think the chase isn't there, or the chase to improve is always there, but the chase to like max out weapons and to get to get all your different kits up to spec where you have everything unlocked, it just isn't there for me in this game. And a lot of that's to do with just the leveling in the game. I'm not about to sit here and sweat this out to do it because that's not fun. Like, it's one thing to go in and play the game and just play it and level up naturally and feel like you made some progression, but it's a whole nother thing to feel like you have to do it in order to progress. And it's like, yeah, I'm not really into that. So kind of played a little bit of that. Then I was just looking at my thing and I was like, man, I actually played 2042 more than I played Battlefield 6, and Battlefield 6 is a better game. But so that
agree, it is a better game, but it's the stuff that's around the game that can make someone stop playing it. You know,
Yes.
because like you can get the full Battlefield experience in like a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you can.
But in order, like, that's not what EA is looking for. They're looking for you to keep playing the game and stay playing the game. And I think you're right about the leveling of the weapons. Just that full experience is not good. That's where 2042 is better. And so,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense that you would play 2042 more than you playing at 6, because it's annoying when you feel like you're not progressing anything.
Yeah, because my goal in 20, because I'm not really a sniper guy or shotgun or heavy machine gun, so I really didn't mess around with those weapons. What's up? How you doing, Logic? I need
Ooh,
you to fix your mic, sir. Your
your
mic is
mic
on
is
Flago.
sound like you got a
But
Dollar General mic there, Game Logic.
he does. That ain't nothing new. But yeah, I wasn't into like all those other weapons and stuff. So my goal was to
Mhm.
like max out all SMGs and max out all ARs. And I got all the ARs maxed out in 2042, and I got through about in 90% of the SMGs. And then I even maxed out, I think, of the specialists of the ones I played. I maxed out 6 of the, I think it's like 9 of them. 6 of the 9 I maxed out completely, got their final camos and everything because it was just fun. And he's like, okay, you want to keep playing the game. I want to keep progressing with my weapons, but it's like, well, let me go play with a different character and learn a different character's play style and stuff. So I don't feel like I'm just, going through the motions. I feel like going through the motions in the game is like once you have everything you want, then you just play the game just to play the game at that point, instead of it being like a objective that you are trying to complete in the game. Because I think that's the thing that kind of keeps you going. Like, as much as we give Bungie crap, people play Destiny like they really like the objective in that game was just to keep playing it. Like, yeah, you wanted to get better weapons and better loadouts and stuff, but people played because they just enjoyed the game. And whenever new content came out, it made people want to play it more. Oh my god. Game Logic.
Wow, you got reverb, man.
Now you got reverb.
Okay, let me.
Clue. We out here doing these things.
I'm a server mute Logic so that he's
this
not
man
reverbing, and then he can Logic just send me a message when you think you got your audio fixed.
Yeah, that man got a $100,000 PC, especially at these prices today, and his mic sound like that, bro. I'm gonna fry you when you come in here. But we all that money we spent on that PC. But no, that's kind of how I look at that. But outside of that, man, just been kind of my brother went home earlier this week. I think Tuesday he went home. He'll be back here on August 3rd because he's coming back and forth for his job here. But yeah, it's been a little bit of that. And I finally hooked my camera back up to my PC, finally, for the first time since November. And that's it. And then I just been reorganizing my desktop. And my daughter asked me yesterday. She said, "So Dad, when we gonna go get my PC?" I laughed at her. I was like, "What PC?"
When you
I said,
win the lottery?
I said, because I told her when she started working a year ago, I said, save your money for a year, and we'll go get you a PC. I said, you want to spend about $1,500. That would get you a pretty decent to really good PC. And that was a year ago. The things that change in a year, SloMo.
Mm-hmm.
The things that change in a year.
I was on PC Part Picker today looking at my build. Man, my build is about a good $1,500 more expensive than it was. About $2,000 more expensive than it was when I built it like in 3 years ago.
I know, crazy, ain't it?
My RAM, I have Corsair Vengeance, DDR5, 64 gigs of RAM. I bought it for $150 in 2023. Guess how much it costs now?
You said how much did you pay for it, dear?
$150.
And how many gigs do you have?
64.
Oh, 64? 64 gigs. Ooh, every bit of $800.
$1,100 is how
Yeah,
much it costs now.
I knew I was gonna undershoot it because I wanted to say $1,000. I wanted to say I said, yeah, but you know what? It depends. But yeah, it's like $1,100 for RAM. It's so
Bro.
crazy.
And then so look, I'm looking at everything. I'm like, why is this so? And so my CPU, I have an i7 13700K.
Mm-hmm.
And after I saw this, I saw a notification on Twitter saying that Intel has notified the pre-built PC company makers that the price of their CPUs has gone up. And I'm like, it sure has, because my 13700K, which is still a good CPU, but it's definitely older. I mean, that one was like probably about 400 when I got it. It's now $1,200.
Yep.
So just building a PC right now, if you want a PC, I don't care if you want to build your own,
Gotta take out second mortgage.
get yourself a pre-built, because the
Yeah.
pre-built companies have contracts that have not expired yet. And so those contracts are not beholden to the changes in the market right now. I know people who are looking at getting a PC that has 5080 in it, that has the fastest CPU in the market, the 9800X3D, that has not the best RAMs, only 16 gigs of RAM, but it's good enough. But
Yeah.
they actually, that's not good enough when you're playing at 4K. But
No, it's
I mean,
not.
regardless, I mean, it's DDR5 RAM, and we're talking $2,500. So if you want a new PC anytime soon, or if you are like needing to replace something, you're probably better off getting a pre-built and then taking the stuff out of the pre-built that you want to keep,
Yep.
because it's just the way. Like right now, things are bad, and it ain't getting good anytime soon. But I haven't. Let me see if Logic has popped. No, I don't see him yet. But uh, I can quickly talk about what I've
Yeah.
been doing.
What you been doing, man?
So I've been playing a lot of games.
I
I've
believe
been
it.
playing. I actually so there's a Starfield update came out, and they added some, like, things, with like shit, like spaceships and stuff like that. They added a few things here and there. There's a new it's, as we mentioned on previous episodes, it's coming out on PlayStation 5, and there is a new expansion that's a real expansion, and it's not just cut content like the previous one was, but there's an expansion coming out. And that one is all dropping on April 7th. So I wanted to reinstall the game, because I was already on like New Game Plus, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to just kind of get refamiliar with it, get back into it, see what had changed. Yeah, so I've been playing that a little bit. I've been playing, surprisingly, Spider-Man 2 on PC. I beat it on PS5, but I did not beat it on PC. I barely played it on PC when it came out on PC. So I've been playing a little bit through that. The mods. I remember now why I stopped playing it. I stopped playing it because I wanted like mods to kind of like because the mods for the original Spider-Man that came out on PC, man, I had Peter Parker looking like Deku from My Hero Academia. Then I changed them up and made them into Spider-Gwen. Like, I had all kinds of like mods, for days going on, and I didn't get a chance to do any of that. They didn't really have a lot of good mods going on in Spider-Man 2 when it first came out, so I looked, and they still ain't got none. But I wanted to just kind of go jump in and just play the game. Like, I enjoyed the combat, so I just kind of wanted to jump in there and play it. So I'm playing that. I have a new monitor. Finally got rid of that M28U gigabyte that has been giving me all kinds of like random black screen issues. And I got this Alienware monitor that is fantastic and actually has legit HDR, which I'm not complaining about. It was on sale at Best Buy, so I said, "Yeah, shoot, why not, right? Why don't I just treat myself?" So I got that. I've been playing some games. I've been playing Cyberpunk with HDR on, which I mean, consoles have HDR on, but like the
Mm-hmm.
visual fidelity ain't quite there like it is on PC. But to have like path tracing on with HDR, with playing at 4K, man, that game looks fantastic. So I've been playing that.
That's what's up.
As you see, I've been playing more Black Ops 7. Last week I said that I thought that I would be Prestige Master by now,
I remember
but
you talking
like,
about that. What's
but
holding you up?
the fact that my dumb behind thought I was about to upgrade to Prestige Master, but instead I was only on tier 9. I thought I was on tier 10,
Oh, so
and
you jumped the
so
gun.
I jumped the gun. So I'm on tier 10 now. I played a little bit with Taz, played a
Nice.
little bit with you.
Yes, you
Now
did.
that I remember. And we had some matches, some good times. I'm about halfway through tier 10, so I'm almost Prestige Master, and then I'm just going to put Call of Duty down for a while. Once I hit Prestige Master and like get a few levels in, I'm gonna put it down for a little while because I'm not really feeling it. I'm not really feeling the game right now. It's just it's too many cheaters. It's still too many
Oh,
cheaters.
it's a
We
lot of
talked
cheaters.
about this before. I'm just I have fun and it's fun talking smack to people, but I'm good. I need some other multiplayer experiences right now to kind of keep me engaged. And currently, right now, there's really nothing that really excites me. I mean, maybe I need to give Marathon another go. We'll see.
Did you
But
play it yet?
I played a little bit of Marathon. I have not too much though, not enough to really say I've been playing it like that. But I'll get back to it pretty soon.
Okay.
Um, I did play Crimson Desert today. Didn't get a lot of time because, like, oddly, like the game launched today, but it didn't go live until like 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It was such an odd time to go live.
Yep.
I'm like, it's so late in the day, so like I barely got any time in it. But I got a little bit of time, enough time to kind of get out of the prologue tutorial phase and into chapter 1. So not enough to really say like whether I like it yet or not, but I've been playing it. But I mean that's about it. Let me see if Logic is back. I don't see him back. So maybe he's trying to get his mic situation put together.
Logic done died.
In the meantime, you ready to do these rapid fire, sir?
Yes, sir.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Why is that so low? I gotta turn that up. Did that sound low to you?
Yeah, it did.
All right, let's do it again.
Oh, really?
That's better.
Oh, really?
Ubisoft. I'm about to
Ubi.
say Square Enix, but Ubisoft.
Ubi.
Ubisoft is not things aren't going well over there right now. So they had a massive downsizing over at Red Storm Entertainment. So for people who aren't aware of who Red Storm is, Red Storm back in the 90s was the
Oh,
studio that was always doing the Rainbow Six games. Like when I
Ghost
say
Recon,
Rainbow
baby.
Six, Ghost Recon, I'm talking about like the actual tactical shooter simulators. Like Rainbow
Yep.
Six was like hostage situations. You would plan the op, you would go in the building, if you got shot in the head, that person was dead. You gotta go to the next guy on the team kind of deal,
Yep.
right? Ain't no respawns. It was
No
all realistic. It
response.
was freaking awesome.
It
Ghost
was.
Recon was similar, but it was more open terrain. Like when you planned the op, you would be like coming from the jungle to a building to infiltrate and take out a target or something like that. Like these are the kind of games that Red Storm made back in the day on like when you're playing it like on your PlayStation and stuff like that. Like they made the ones that what was it? Rainbow Six Vegas on Xbox, and I remember playing. I think I remember playing it on Xbox, but so they made those back in the day. More recently, they were the main support studio for Massive Entertainment on the Division 1 and 2. They helped make the Snowdrop engine, which is a fantastic game engine, and they were the main developer on the Division Heartland, which was supposed to be Ubisoft's extraction shooter. I think they probably kicking themselves for canceling that, but as we've been hearing, Ubisoft has laid off 105 developers out of Red Storm, and now the studio is no longer doing any active game development. What they will be doing going forward is just IT support. They literally say IT support, which is crazy. I mean, have a studio going from making games to just being IT support is crazy, but IT support and game engine support for Snowdrop Engine and all the various developers under Ubisoft's umbrella that uses Snowdrop Engine, which is a good number. And so that's about it. Kind of a disappointing end for Red Storm and them doing game development. Forte, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, I remember that's where, like, for Xbox Live, that's where a lot of my love for shooters outside of like Halo and stuff on the original Xbox really came from, especially when it came to tactical. Like the original Ghost Recon, Graw, like it was like something about making you have to play the campaign in order to get weapons to use in a multiplayer. Like if you wanted to get that 7.62 carbine, you had to do that single player mission where you had to take the broken down castle and everything. And it was like a hard mission, bro, but you had to beat it with all stars. But that's the only way you could get that weapon to use in multiplayer. So I remember grinding that level for like a couple of days in order to get all the stuff I needed, all the objectives completed, and able to use that weapon on the game, on a multiplayer. And once I did, I was like, yes, this is awesome. And I just really like the design that they had in their games. Like even if you go back to the original Rainbow Six, Vegas.
Yeah.
Rainbow Six Vegas. Close quarters. I remember playing that with friends like crazy. Yeah, so all the Tom Clancy games, like really back then, was like it was like a whole nother thing. And then you start getting into like the advanced warfare ones and stuff when you had when it was Grog, Ghost Recon, Advanced Warfighter and everything. Bro, those were games that like people don't realize how great Ubisoft games were back then. Like Splinter Cell, like
Well, I was about to say Splinter Cell, yeah.
Bro, like originals, like Chaos, the Double Agent, Chaos Theory, like it was like playing all those games back then. It used to be like a spectacle when a Rainbow's, like when a Tom Clancy game would release. No matter what title it was, if it had Tom Clancy in the name, you were there for it. So it sucks that this is the thing that's happening, but to be for real, people aren't playing games like that really no more, or they're not making games like that really anymore because the way that those games were made is,
I know one modern game that's in that kind of like game design. You heard of Ready or Not, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ready or Not. It was on PC for like a year or two before it showed up on consoles. But yeah, that one is it's like old school Rainbow Six. You go. I don't think you plan the op like that. I don't think they do that aspect of it, but it's very much like you gotta clear the room. You gotta like you taking hostages, or not hostages, but you're taking terrorists into custody,
Yeah.
making them get down, zip tying them. If you get, like I've seen people play it, and be a terrorist hiding behind the door they just came through, shotgun your boy in the back. But it's multiplayer, right? It's
Right.
multiplayer, like online multiplayer. Whereas old school back in the day, this is before online gaming was a thing. If you were playing with your friends, it was split screen,
Right.
all on the same TV on the same box. But my bad. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I enjoy Red Storm's games. I would have wanted, considering, and we discussed this already, Ubisoft has gone through a reorganization where
Yeah.
they have like these little fiefdoms. It's kind of these little fiefdoms, which are all kind of based upon the kind of genres that these developers work on. So I forgot what they called it. I think it was like Studio House 1 or something like that. But whatever the Tom Clancy properties that are not Rainbow Six, because of Siege, and that's being handled by the Tencent portion
Right.
of Ubisoft. Everything else, like the Division and all that other stuff, is in this one studio house. And so with the Division being there, and they've said that these little fiefdoms have their own autonomy in deciding what to approve and what to go forward with, and what and of course it's just not a blank check. You're going to be held accountable, so you can't just make any old thing. But the PR of this was that this was going to promote more creativity out of Ubisoft, maybe bring back some of that old Ubisoft. And
Right.
I never really believed it, but this really goes to me where, it's kind of proof that it's not all it's going to be cracked up to be, because Red Storm, and sure, maybe a lot of the people that made those games in the 90s ain't there no more, maybe like all of those people, but they
Right.
got pedigree for this kind of stuff. You could have revitalized the Division Heartland, considering extraction shooters are a bit more acceptable than they were when you canceled it. You could,
Yeah.
but Ready or Not is a successful game. You could have, brought back that kind of style of game and called it Ghost Recon.
Yep. Sure could have.
And it would have done way more than what Ready or Not did, because you got a successful, popular IP, and it is you can't super monetize it like they want to, but it's a style of game that there are people who still want to play, and it's just
Yeah, I would play those 100% of the time over most of the stuff that's out now, because I feel like those games were all built on the essence of what kind of game it was, like tactical shooting. Like this whole health bar, it's like if you pop somebody in the head from 40 meters away and you got a good shot off, that boy died. He dead before he hit the ground in that game. So, might want to see if Logic's thing is unmuted.
I think he still has yeah, there's still that reverb logic. And we can't hear you. Who can hear us? Echo.
Echo. This is how you do. This is Rock in the building.
I'm a server mute him again so he can try to get it sorted. Go ahead, Forte.
Oh no. That's all I was saying.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's discuss this next rapid fire. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
This is a pretty cool update from Nintendo. Nintendo kind of shadow dropped this, released an update for the Switch 2 that allows players to play Switch 1 games with the docked settings while in handheld mode. So when I say the Switch 1 games docked settings, so if you had a Switch 1, if it was docked, it would kind of perform a little bit better than it would when you were in handheld mode. And now on the Switch 2, if you're playing a backwards compatible Switch 1 game, and you're playing it in handheld mode, it would give you the docked performance instead of forcing you into what handheld mode was on the Switch 1, if I'm making sense. But anyway, I've tried this myself with Fire Emblem Three Houses, and I would say it's a welcome update, because in Three Houses, on the Switch 1, when you would like go do stuff in the monastery, the school, frame rates were terrible.
Oh
To
yeah, absolutely.
yo-yo, I mean, it was already not going beyond 30 FPS, but it's just like it was never staying at 30 FPS. It would only be at close to 30 FPS in like battles and cutscenes. Like in the monastery, walking around, that thing was like it'd be in the 20s the whole time. Now it's I mean, it ain't above 30, which ain't great, right? But it is a consistent 30 FPS, so at least that's not a yo-yo anymore. So I can attest to that. It is doing what it's supposed to be doing. And I remember on the Switch 1 when I played in handheld mode, it wasn't pretty either. It was a little pixelated, a little ugly, a little
A
ugly.
little ugly.
Yeah, and it's not ugly on the Switch 2 now, which is good. So I'm appreciating that. Forte, have you played anything Switch 1 related on it?
Like any Switch 1 games?
Yeah, I mean,
my
this
Switch 2?
this update came out
No. Yeah, when did it come out?
like 2 days ago, I think.
No, I haven't played anything Switch 1 on it yet. Yeah.
Okay.
I only played Switch 2 stuff. Now you gotta be interested. I want to go see what games like what's the name of it? All right, try it again.
No, go ahead and finish your point.
No, I was gonna say I was gonna try. I need to try games like what is it called? Xenoblade Chronicles.
Oh
Or
yeah. Oh
I need to try
'cause
Xenoblade.
I
That
need to
game
play
is
that
horrible.
That game
on the-
plays horrible.
Horrible on the Switch 1. Yeah, it does. That's
Terrible performance.
terrible. Yeah,
And it's ugly.
if
It's
they can
ugly
save, listen,
and
if
it
the,
perform bad.
listen,
you gotta
listen.
be one or the other. You gotta be
Yeah,
pretty
you gotta be
and
one or the
perform
other.
bad.
But
or,
if that
or
ga-
perform good but be ugly. You can't be both. You can't be
yeah,
both.
but if
That's
but if this update can save that, then I will consider that a success.
yeah.
Oh,
All right, and it looks
I
like
don't- I don't-
Ramon
I don't-
may
I
be,
don't- I don't-
joining us as well.
I don't hear any reverb.
Are you
I
guys
also-
able to hear me?
Oh, shout out to the man with the $10,000 PC with audio and mic issues.
What's up, Game Logic? How you been, man?
Man, you lucky I like you, Forte.
Listen, man, you the one that come in here talking about I got GPU sitting on my counter from 10 years ago on top of the ones I bought 2 years ago.
Oh, man.
And got mic issues out here, bro.
Look, man, when you got expensive gear, it's hard to get it hooked up right. I haven't used this setup with Discord, so just let me be at peace, man. You told me to come on the show. You said I was family, and here
You
you
are
go.
well, family catches strays and L's
He
too.
said family can catch the fade too. is what he
Yeah, they
said,
can
man.
shoot all family. Then you ain't family unless you're willing to catch a fade.
Oh boy.
How are you,
So-
sir?
I'm good. Yeah,
That's good.
I figured out at least one thing out. When I came in the first time, I had the mainstream output of this piped into the mic, which includes like my desktop audio and all that stuff. So I think that's all the audio that was coming through.
Gotcha.
So basically, is you still learn how to use your PC? Is what you saying?
Not the PC, this
Forte.
mixer. The road.
I am
Studio-
I'm
Leave
being
him,
me-
leave him
I'm-
alone. Forte.
I am being real messy right now. You right. I'm being real messy right now.
When it comes to production stuff,
all
we're talking
I
about
heard-
cameras.
All I heard was I'm still learning how to use my PC. That's what I heard.
Why you gotta make it about the whole PC when it's just the mixer? That's my question.
But the
If you-
mixer's hooked up to your PC.
Look, if you wanted to put it on me because of the mixer, then I would be okay.
But don't you? But isn't your interface, your mixer is just the interface that's hooked up to your PC that allows everything to like flow through it, though.
See, SloMo, this is why we be on here till 12:30 in the morning when I come on.
Just saying, man.
It's
You
true.
gotta. You can't be saying the things that you saying and think you can just get away with it.
You're right. Facts.
Cause you ain't gonna let me get away with nothing. Trust me. I'm
Yeah,
happy to have you here, though.
Oh, I
Yeah.
gotta tell you something. Logic. I'm gonna tell you
Uh-oh.
how I got Forte to play Call of Duty with me. You wanna hear
Man,
this?
here
You
we
wanna hear
go.
this?
Here we
I do
go.
want to hear this. Yeah.
Here we go. I want to hear this too.
So you want to hear? You were there. You were there.
Oh, I know. I want to hear how this story is. This betrayed of this story is about to be portrayed.
Oh, it 100% accurately as always. So look,
Okay,
what night was this? Was this last Thursday night?
it
After
sure
the show?
was. It was
Okay,
after the show.
After the last week's episode. You know, me and Forte talk. Taz was in the chat, and Taz was like, "Yo, we playing COD? And y'all done?" And I said, "Bet, we playing COD." Now, typically, Forte always says, oh, "Okay, I'm gonna join you guys. And then he'll go like, "Oh, I got like a 5,000, gig update. Can't make it. I'm gonna try to do the update. I'll be right back." He'll never come back. "Oh, I'm about to go eat something. I'll be right back." Never come back. "Oh, I'm about to go take a leak." Never come back.
I'm about to go tend to
all the time. Happens all the
Yeah.
time. So me and Taz is talking.
No lies were spoken.
And so I'm getting on Forte. I'm like, "You ain't played this game since it came out." And he's like, "You right?" I'm like, "You only got 5
Oh, this is where we're
matches
going.
in
This is
game."
where we
And
going.
so he's all like, "Yeah, you right. You know what?" I was like, "Forte, your KD don't look too good with these 5 matches." I'm like, "You're not even at a 1.0 KD. That's not gaming Forte. That's not what I expect from you." I was like, "Man, Game Logic got a way higher KD than you."
Oh yeah, you was catching strays.
I know. No, Logic wasn't catching strays.
No, you was trying to.
Strays.
You became a stray because of this.
That's not straight, because I remember y'all always going back and forth about like, "Oh, well, who's getting carried in here," kind of thing. And I was just like, "All right, let me tweak Forte a little bit." Hey man, Game Logic got a way higher KD than you. I'm like, you gonna allow that to happen?
It worked too.
It sure worked. Forte was in there.
It worked. I was in there for
like an hour.
For an hour. I said we got to get this KD up.
now, Logic, your KD still higher. So I just
Oh yeah. It should be.
High.
It should
But,
temporarily.
Oh, were you gonna play? You gonna play some more? Have you played more since then?
No, temporarily it's higher. It's gonna be.
So, you for real? My KD's higher than his in
Yes, it is.
It is right
Yes,
now.
it is. Yes,
Oh
yes.
snap!
Yeah, it is higher.
And I just came back to it too. I dropped off much earlier than I usually. I dropped off like in January, and I was like, and at first I said, "Yeah, I'm not liking Black Ops 7. I don't think I'm playing this year." But I just came back this week, so it's on Forte.
Came back in the week and just laughed you.
Yep.
Just took your KD and said, "What is that?
What is that?"
Let me look at that in my rearview mirror. That's what he did to your KD for. I tell you, I don't know how you want to take that. I don't know how you want to look yourself in the mirror.
I'll be like, take that.
Anyway, Ramon, what's up, Ramon? How you doing, sir?
Yo, what's happening? I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. Just glad to be here and glad to chop it up with you fellas. I actually got to get on while Logic was here, so that's always a treat. I'm doing all right.
That's good.
Excellent. So and now that I'm done messing with Forte, we can get back to the topic, and I'll present this to you, gentlemen. Have you guys know about this Switch 2 update? Have you guys done anything with it? Tried any games out in the past couple of days?
I know about it, but haven't tried it out. I had just loaded Tears of the Kingdom just to try because I hadn't played the Switch 2 version of it, and so I played a couple hours of it, and I really liked what I played, and really liked how it looked on Switch 2. But I was playing docked, so I haven't checked out the update stuff undocked yet.
Yeah. This is just for handheld, and so
Best
Ramon,
way to play.
I don't know if you had heard, but I don't know about that. But if you're playing on Switch 2 and you're playing a game that's backwards compatible Switch 1 game, you will get like it's not like a lot of these games. Some of them aren't like don't have like unlocked frame rates and stuff like that, right? So it's not you're not getting the full benefit of the more powerful hardware the Switch 2 has, but
Yeah.
you will when you're playing in handheld mode get the docked settings of the Switch 1 games instead of the handheld settings, which were abysmal compared to the hardware that you're on. So so far, what I've seen, it's pretty good so far. Have you? Do you have a Switch 2? I don't think I've ever asked you this.
Yeah, I got one. It was quite an undertaking and some finagling, but I got one because primarily because I knew the prices were going to go up, and I didn't want to be stuck paying even more by the time Zelda comes out, whenever it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have one. I largely ignore anything that has to do with Nintendo unless they say Zelda and or maybe a Bayonetta 4. So unless I hear those two things, I'm largely kind of indifferent. So I haven't heard that news and I haven't tried it. But and plus, even still, I don't play in handheld mode. Like my Switch never comes out of its dock, and I only play in docked mode. So
That's
that's
how I
not
play
a.
it primarily. Although lately, I've been doing more handheld lately, like just a lot of personal family things, having to go to
Yeah.
hospitals and stuff like that. And just when you sit in waiting rooms for hours,
Listen, I
having
was getting
something on hand is preferable. Like and the Switch 2 still isn't as big and as bulky as the Steam Deck. And some of the games I'm playing, I mean, sorry Valve, but they look a little bit
Dude,
better
I
on
have to
Switch
say,
2 than they look on Steam Deck. So
I have to say, as much shade as I have for Nintendo, that console is capable, man. Like, I mean,
yes.
it's capable enough to where, and I'm sure they are, but if I was Sony, I'd be like, okay, we need to batten down the hatches because they've caught up enough to where it's actually a decision for people to make. Will I take a performance and resolution hit so that I can play this not only at home, but also on the go? Because it surprised me. I'm surprised at just how impressive the Switch 2 is.
yeah, man,
So,
it's playing RE9. I mean, it ain't
wow.
playing it the way the other consoles and PC is playing
But you
it, but
but you can boot it up. That's all that
you can
matters.
boot it up.
It
And you
actually
can
runs. Yeah.
and you can enjoy yourself, and maybe you might be a little bit more scared because the frame rate's a little bit lower, and maybe them Joy Cons ain't as accurate, so you might be a little bit more. Look, back in the day with Resident Evil, the fear wasn't the zombies and the zombie dogs and the lickers and all that other stuff. The fear was the fact of them trash tank controls. I'm trying to aim this thing at a head, and I'm like all over the place, and it's just that was the fear, man. I'm not gonna be able to get this headshot off before this lumbering zombie get over and bite me.
The
But,
fear.
the fear, man.
You gotta love
So
that
anyway.
fear, man. Listen, but you guys are all making really good points. I will not slander the fact that y'all play on y'all TVs with y'all Switch 2s. I can't even tell you my dock isn't even hooked up to my TV. I haven't had my dock on my TV, and I think I had it on there initially to charge, but I think about in December I took it off my TV because, matter of fact, we switched our TV in our living room, and I never hooked the dock back up to it. So I predominantly play handheld most of the time. And I went to get my brakes done yesterday. And I was there. I got there at like 9:00 in the morning, and he was like, "Yeah, 2 hours." I said, "All right, cool." Went in there, popped on some Pohokia, and then laid and played that and played some Fire Red. I was sitting on my sweat. Dude, it was next thing I know, it was 12:30, and he was like, "Mr. Thomas, come on up here. We got you all set. Come pay this $800." I was like, "Oh my God." But listen, I love it. It's like, the Switch is like one of those, like I tell you, it kind of makes you appreciate a lot of games in a different way due to the fact that you can it's like, it makes you pick certain games. It's like, oh, I could play this game in spurts, or it's like a game, like the games I take with me. Like, I don't know if I would play Resident Evil on it, but I would play something like like I was playing like Bravely Default on mine, and I was playing triangle strategy and stuff like that, and games where it has like even Final Fantasy 7. I bought that on Switch because I feel like I could just play parts of it in handheld mode and just be on the go and stuff. And I know there's more capable hardware out there, but I feel like the level of performance you can get out of a Switch, because I am a realist. I know that you are not going to get like top tier performance out of a $500 handheld. I mean, if you want that, you need to go, with a ROG Ally X or something, and for like $1,000 if you really want to get some better performance. But I'm willing to do it because I think the games they have on the console are, that happy median and getting you to, play on that console in general.
Yeah, look, man, it's a good update. Switch is all right. It is my go-to when I'm actually out doing things. Instead of my Steam Deck, I really can't tell you the last time I played my Steam Deck. That's
That's
is
good.
what it is. Let's
Steam
go.
Deck is a pile somewhere.
No, it's hooked up to a TV somewhere.
Oh, you got the dock.
Yeah, I got a dock for it.
ATV somewhere.
I like he said a TV somewhere. Like I don't know where this
Look,
TV is, but it ain't near me.
And it's crazy. I got like a GameSir G7 connected to that. Yeah, look, man, I got a TV. I got a gaming device connected to nearly every TV in the house. That's just the way we do it over here. But look, let's get into these main topics. You ready to jump into this stuff here?
I am.
So, Crimson Desert came out today, and
yeah, the
Yes, sir.
reviews for it came out yesterday. Now, Pearl Abyss released, or is the developer and publisher released it today. I have a few hours in the game. I would say probably 2 hours at the most, like literally a few hours. But the embargo for the reviews ended yesterday, and with a total of 98 reviews, all PC. All PC reviews, no console reviews. It comes in at a 78, so not a bad game, not a bad score, but definitely not great. The result of the Metacritic score has disappointed investors to the degree that their stock has dropped 29%.
Yep.
A lot of the reviews seem to have stated that Crimson Desert has a vast open world, and there's a lot to do. There's a lot of battles, there are a lot of bosses to fight, a lot of enemies, and a lot of different weapons and stuff. And those are its strengths, its exploration, but found the story to be extremely lacking. Found that the bosses and puzzles are too difficult, and a general lack of direction in what you need to be doing in the game. And I'll just speak on my personal experience in my short time playing it. Like I think I said this earlier. I got out of the prologue phase. I'm officially in chapter 1. And look, I understand what people are saying about the story. It is barely a story. Like basically you're a dude named Cliff, and you used to run with this mercenary group called the Wolves, and then they got attacked by almost immediately as soon as the game starts. This is all stuff early in the game, so don't feel like I'm saying spoilers. They get attacked almost immediately by another mercenary group called the Bears. Like, I kind of feel like these are two football teams or something. And the Bears are, it like things don't work out well for Cliff.
The Bears.
And then, you kind of get into basically the game trying to teach you all of the different things that you can do, how combat works, and it's a little odd. I would have to say some oddities to, like, I've never been a fan of on controller needing to press a button to run. That's never been like something that I particularly care for. I'm still getting used to that aspect. You gotta hold A or keep tapping A to sprint, or if you're on your horse to have your horse gallop. I'm not a big fan of that, but the combat seems okay so far. I'm just got the default sword and shield that you start out with, but I mean, look, massive open world, very very pretty game. Very few open world games look this good. It's not running Unreal Engine. It's Pearl Abyss's proprietary engine. It begins with black something. I forgot the Black Spear, maybe. I can't remember the name
Black
of it.
Space. Black Space.
Black what? Face?
Black Space.
Black Space. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Game engine is fairly easy to run when it comes to performance. I'm playing it with my footage here is 4K. I have DLSS performance on because I turned on ray tracing with ray reconstruction. But if I wanted to turn ray tracing off, it would be very easily like triple digits on my 4080 Super. So the performance is really good. I just turned on all the bells and whistles to see how well I can make it look and how much I could push it and whatnot. And it runs well. It doesn't have any of that Unreal Engine jank. But apparently another issue that the reviewers are saying is that it's got a lot of bugs, which I haven't run into at all yet. But again, I'm super early. But so far, I'm enjoying it. I can't really speak definitively, on whether you should get this game or not. I will say this though, just based off of what I know about it, and I'm not saying I'm gonna love this game or enjoy this game. I feel like I need to have a significant number of hours in it to really kind of get a full feel for it. But I will say that if you're someone who loves to explore, who loves to go off the beaten path and just do all kinds of other things and see where you can get into. You're someone who really enjoyed Skyrim or enjoyed exploring in Elden Ring. You're probably going to really like this game. If you're someone who needs direction, like you need the little glitter path to tell you where to go, tell you what to do, you're doing a puzzle and you the kind of person that needs like a sidekick behind you saying, hey Cliff,
Hey now, Cliff.
what's that bell up there? Maybe you should ring that. Like basically giving you hints on how to complete the puzzle. This probably ain't gonna be for you. And if you and I would say even further, if you someone who really loves stories and games, you're probably not going to really be gravitating towards this game because the story in this is super basic, and even in the short period of time, some of the dialogue had me like, "Are you for real?" I mean, it's not. I've seen worse, but this ain't the best. Now, Forte, you haven't played it yet.
Nope,
Game
not
Logic,
yet.
have you played Crimson Desert yet?
No, and I won't be anytime soon.
Okay, cool. Any thoughts on just the reviews, the general reception of the game?
I'm on the side of the argument that people flipping out over like 77, 78 reviews, score reviews, aggregate reviews. As normal, like the double standard of the gaming community always cracks me up because it was review scores don't matter, but now people are mad about a review score. And I mean we went through the same thing kind of with Starfield. So I'm like, and I'm not getting on it because of the Metacritic review score. Right now I'm not getting on it partially because of the Steam user community review scores. Although
the bugs, performance, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's at 55% right now, but I'm doing some digging and I'm seeing some things that I would toss out and then some things that I would keep in. Like people are complaining about like the weird keyboard and mouse config because like apparently you have to hit like multiple keys. It's a Korean game, so I think some of those design elements in there have carried over.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I agree with that because there's some very odd control, even with controller. There's some odd like button press combinations you need to make. For example, they got this thing that you can do to kind of like complete puzzles, and then also to kind of blind enemies in combat, where you can pull out your sword and like kind of use the sun to reflect into the eyes of enemies and blind them, or to reflect the sunlight to complete a puzzle or to unlock something. But the process of doing that, I think, is very odd. Like you essentially need to press left bumper and right bumper at the same time, then unpress left bumper and then hold right bumper to keep the sword up. Then you're using the directional pad to direct, kind of like do the reflection, and it's just like, why do we have to do it like that? That just seems very odd. And then there's like a special ability button that I've never liked, having to press right bumper and right trigger at the same time. But there like are some attacks that you can do that require you to press both. And I'm just like, for me, but the way I hold the controller, that's just kind of awkward for me. So I kind of understand people kind of complaining about the controls, because it's just a little odd, a little bit odd control configurations. And I haven't dug too deep into it, but I wonder if I can what's the word I'm looking for? Reassign. Reassign some of the button commands, and instead of having a set default and then a set alternate choices that they choose for you, can I just manually say I want this button to do this and do that and see if that works? But I haven't tried that yet, so I don't know. But my bad. Go ahead and continue.
Oh, no, and then but some of the reviews are in there. I can I can smell the whiff of PC Potato Nation in there. Because one guy's complaining because apparently they have the config files like locked down somehow, and he's complaining because he can't get to the config files and like change them. I'm like, bro, that's not a reason for a thumbs down, right? In a video game review.
You know how PC gamers are, though, that you messing with their ability to mod and change their game.
Right. Yeah. But I'm sure this is a person on a PC Potato, and he needs to monkey with the game because he can't play it right at high performance. Then I see other people complaining about the performance, and I'm like, and again, I've heard multiple instances of that the performance is great. I heard it again here from SloMo. I'm like, okay, this is a guy on like a 2-generation old 6000 series card playing on a 1080p monitor, complaining about performance. So, but mostly it's just. I saw a really good review. It was a guy who said he'd played Black Desert. And he said, look, like if before you come to this game, like you need to understand, essentially this is an erector set, right? It's a sandbox. Korean, and apparently he has played a bunch of Korean games, and he said, you need to understand, in general, like the stories aren't going to be great, right? In these types of games. It's really just a big sandbox to go around and do stuff. He said essentially what they've really done is it's like they took Black Desert, stripped all the MMO stuff out of it, and then put a single player campaign around it, like a very loose single player campaign. So that's the review feedback for me is dampened enough that, having played, and I'm going to say this, but I'm also not going to say like this. People shouldn't have this expectation of me. Like I'm not bragging about like I'm going off on this trend to do this over and over again. But having played The Legend of Heroes Trails Beyond the Horizon in the beginning of this year, and putting 100 hours into that game, I'm highly unlikely to go back to some type of RPG that asked me to put 100 hours into it. So,
gotcha.
I'm just slumming it right now in Call of Duty, Diablo 4, and Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I think I'll let this one go.
Cool. Ramon, you seem excited for this game. What do you have you played it yet? What are your thoughts?
Okay, so I'm about 3 hours in.
Ooh.
So first, my initial expectations were the story being at least serviceable. I wasn't expecting a grand sweeping tale, because I mean, when you played it, we've played enough games to kind of know what to expect from a certain type of game, and this game never once struck me as that. Elden Ring tells its story 90% through lore. And
Very
for
true.
everyone who had harsh criticisms on the story or lack thereof for this, I would expect they had the same criticism for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, two of my favorite open world massive games, by the way. The stories are like at best, barely serviceable. I mean, protagonist
Boo.
doesn't. I mean, dude,
He's
like the
not wrong though.
protagonist, huh?
Boo.
I said you're not wrong. Like
And,
the Forte, you
yeah,
just
I
hating
mean,
over here.
yeah, for Forte just he adores Nintendo, which is great. But come on, dude.
No. I don't adore
The
Nintendo. I adore Zelda. That's
Well,
my
yeah, I
bias.
adore dude. I adore Zelda as well, and Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild are two of my favorite open world games. I've played Breath of the Wild twice, and Tears of the Kingdom once only because other stuff came out. But I'm gonna try the 4K patches. But anyway, um, those games sparse story, but they're fun to play. So with those expectations going in, my main criteria is at least a serviceable story, and there needs to be good gameplay and exploration. And for the type of game it is, I need good visuals. I mean, with a great big open world like this, it needs to look good because you're gonna be
Yeah.
looking at it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as I'm concerned, I've been getting that. The story, you already described it well enough so far. I mean, the dialogue, certain dialogue works well. Other dialogue, it's a bit choppy. And when I say choppy, I mean there's a gap between one sentence and the next. So it's like, oh, thank you so much. Gap, beat, beat. I couldn't have done
Yeah.
this without you. Beat, beat. So, that I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's something they can tweak, but the timing between the characters saying one sentence to the next in some instances is a little bit too spaced out. And in other instances is fine. So that's an inconsistency that it would be nice if they fixed, but it's by far not a game breaker or not a deal breaker for me. The
Question for you,
combat,
and I kind
yeah.
of got this vibe when I was playing it. Do you get kind of like an Assassin's Creed kind of vibe from this game? Because I say that
Um,
because of the massive open world, which you see a lot from Ubisoft games, but also because when Cliff, like when I leveled up and I'm in the level up, like he did this thing where like there's like, and even when you load in, it almost seems like, you know how like in Assassin's Creed you're like a descendant of some great person in the past, and then you're like reliving their life through like their bones or some crap. I don't know. Like I'm not big
yeah,
on
through the
Assassin's Creed,
Animus
but
machine, and yeah.
yeah. Did this seem like he was kind of doing kind of like, because it's like when you load in, it's like all this like kind of a futuristic kind of look, and then when I leveled up, he literally stuck his hand out and some like sci-fi cube popped up out of nowhere, and I'm like, what is going on? Like that's the one thing that I will complain about. Like if you want to be light on story, cool, but what is happening?
Well, you
Why does
have the
Cliff know that? Like, because I mean, I was paying attention. At no point do I recall
He said I
some of
was
the
paying
events
attention.
early on, right? And we know what happens to him, right, when he, in the fight. But like, was there a? I don't know. Did I skip a cutscene? You can't even skip cutscenes, so
well, so
you just
far
fast forward through them. So
I'm not finding a problem with that. I mean, after what happened in the beginning happens, and then he ends up in this place, and he's doesn't know what's going on or where he is, and then um, when you help certain people, and then you kind of get a little bit more of a piece of what's going on, you kind of understand what basically. I can't really say because I don't want to say spoilers to the audience, but I
Spoilers.
mean, the things that he's doing, they're feeding it to you. In my opinion, it's been fed to me properly so far. I mean, Cliff doesn't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on,
you
and
sure
then
don't.
you meet this person that gives you a little bit of what's going on, but everything is still largely a mystery. You don't know
Right.
where the floating isles are coming
Right.
from.
Okay. Yeah,
but
so it's still too
there's
early.
an
It's still too early.
interdimensional. Yeah,
Maybe
it's
this
still
stuff will get
it's
explained in a little bit. Okay.
yeah.
I get
I mean, this is epic fantasy with a little bit with little seasonings of I don't even want to say science fiction, like science fantasy, if you will. There's
hmm
a little bit of science fantasy in that, those floating islands and everything, but it's more kind of on a cosmic level is the vibe that I'm getting is that some cosmic fantasy mixed in with epic fantasy, and because there's technology, then you're getting a little bit of technology in it, like maybe steampunk, because I mean there's trains in it and mechs and so forth. So it's still early, but so far everything they've done, there's mystery there, but I haven't found anything to be random. Um on the technical side, there's pop in and there's lots of it.
Yeah,
I
I
ex-
saw
I
that a lot,
expect
and it's
yeah,
not even
there's
that
tons.
far away. Like the distance of the
No, it's like
pop
right in
in
front.
is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like 10 feet in front of you. You're seeing pop in. So,
yeah.
um,
Pop
I'm
ins.
expecting. Now, I will say this, and I've seen this from every video that I've watched. The Pearl Abyss Studio is very reactive. They're fast. Like one YouTuber who reviewed it, and or I think even maybe Fighting Cowboy said this, but I know Luke Stevens. I stumbled across his channel, and he even said this. He was like, "I had a problem on one day. I emailed them." Or I emailed them and they were like, "Can you send us the video of it or whatever?" And he was like, I think it was like 45 minutes later was fixed or something like that. So they're very reactive. They're fixing things really fast. So I expect a lot of the visual pop in and glitches or bugs, if you will be rectified over time. The only technical issue I have encountered is pop in so far. Like I say, I'm only 3 hours in, so it's not like I can say much. But I did a
hmm
lot of walking around, a lot of exploring. I did some side quests where little minor stuff where I help people. And early on in the game, the little you know helper side quests are to teach you things. So like, one lady's
Yeah.
like, I need to cook this dish for someone, but I've only ever worked with meat. I've never worked with fish before. So if I have all the ingredients, would you mind cooking it for me? And that's the vehicle to teach you how to cook meals, and some the blacksmith needs a new handle for his axe. And so, he asks you if you'll chop wood for him because he can't leave the hearth. So things like that, it's the side quests are designed to teach you how to do everything. Um, the combat, I can see where people might
Do you
bounce
have a
off of it.
different weapon yet? Do you have a different
N-
weapon from the base weapon yet?
No, I still have the same base weapon,
The shield and sword.
the,
Okay.
the sword and shield. Yeah, and like there's a special the move you've seen it a million times on videos and stuff with the particle effects, where you have to press uh, R R1 and R2 in order
Yeah.
to do like a powerful attack and everything. I don't have a
Yeah.
problem with it. Maybe it's because of the way I hold the controller. I don't have a problem with it. Um, I haven't encountered anything yet that has felt cumbersome to me. However, I can see how some people might feel that it's a little bit cumbersome in terms of a certain IGN review. Like, I mean, I'm sensing a little
Ooh,
bit of maybe some
certain.
lightweight
Oh.
fraud energy because they're
Ooh,
Oh.
talking about
we throwing
how puzzles.
strays.
Dude, you talking about how puzzles are too hard and the combat with bosses is too hard. Yet, as I read that, I'm listening to Fighting Cowboy, who's like, "Yeah, I didn't find the game to be too difficult, and the puzzles, might be a little challenging, but they're not that hard." He's like,
Listen,
the
all
main
gamers are not created equal.
all gamers are not created equal. However, if you're gonna judge a game harshly like that, it has to be something that isn't is only mild. How can I word it? It has to be something that's only mildly subjective, or maybe the other way around. But
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying is, in my
Reviews are
opinion,
subjective, though.
the reviews are subjective, but you're going to
True.
give a game a 6 because
His opinion.
you are trash on the combat. You know what I mean?
His opinion. I mean, listen, I'm just giving you a hard time. I agree with everything you're saying, but yeah, it's
Like if he, it's okay. I don't mind somebody dinging it because there's something about it they don't like. But a 6 is harsh. And I mean, again, I've only played 3 hours. This person played dozens of hours. So, maybe I'll encounter something that would make me understand.
Right. Yeah. I would say this is why I'm kind of like I'm still in the undecided phase, because like so far with the combat, I'm okay with it, but I'm not thoroughly impressed. But I haven't done enough of it to really have a full opinion on it quite yet. So if one person, look, I've seen, and it's been very polarizing. I've seen people say the combat's okay, and I've seen people say that the bosses are way too difficult. And the design of the levels, like for example, the dude Let Me Solo Her, who was the guy that was soloing Melania Blade and Milica in Elden Ring, but butterball naked with a pot on his head. This guy, right? He said that the combat was, the boss fights were unnecessarily difficult in his opinion. He said that it was the design of some of the arenas with some of these bosses that made it difficult. Like the boss's moveset made it so that like the area that you fought that boss should have been like a big open area, but you're fighting them in like a little like town hall or something. And so it made it difficult to kind of deal with that fight in that manner. I think I've seen other people say that where people were getting messed up is that a lot of people were trying to play it as if they would play a Souls game. Whereas what they had noticed, and the reason why all the boss fights were easy for them, was because they were getting different weapons, putting those weapons on, and then learning abilities and stacking abilities, because the way the weapon, the skills and different things work, different weapons provide different abilities or different combat. And so they were stacking the uniqueness of each weapon until so that they were getting like really awesome combinations, and doing that would made all the boss fights super easy for them. And so I think when you have a game that does not have a lot of explaining of things, that wants you to figure it out and it's not going to tell you, those are things that they want you to just kind of learn organically. And some people will learn it, will figure it out, and then some people won't. And so then you get, like I said, that polarization of some people saying the combat's kind of mid, some people saying the combat's amazing, and the boss fights were dumb easy and stuff like that. Also, there is with the puzzles, I saw a review, I think it was ACG actually, ACG's review. He said that some of the puzzles are bugged, and I hope they fix this before I get to the later chapters where this is a problem. But some puzzles are bugged and some enemies don't take damage. Very rarely he would run into an enemy that just wouldn't take any damage. But the puzzles aren't activating correctly, and you gotta reload the game in order to get it to activate right, which kind of sucks. But that's kind of you're gonna get people who are, especially when there's a game that leans so heavily into exploration, that it's probably not gonna be their jam. But yeah, I gotta see a little bit more. Who I don't know who did the IGN review, but it's pretty funny. You kind of went in on them.
Leave that man alone, man. That man had an opinion.
I largely ignore IGN, but every once in a while I see something that strikes me as maybe a little bit ridiculous, and I take note. But this game is definitely not for everybody. If you don't like a slow burn in the beginning of the game, you're not gonna like this game, because you start off. There's combat in the beginning. You do some fighting and everything, and then even when you go out on the road to do a couple of errands for the first city that you land in, you come across some bandits and you get into a couple of fights. But it's a slow burn in the beginning because they're teaching you some of the controls for some of the more mundane tasks before you go get back into combat. It's very much the world is very much is a character, the main character of this game. You know, the world is the character, kind of like, you know, Lord of the Rings. The world is largely the main character, Middle Earth, right? So this is that type of fantasy game. It's the world is like this front and center, and then you have everybody else. But if you don't like that, you're probably not going to like this. If you don't like, you know, in-depth systems like with combat and everything, like you're probably not going to like this. If you don't like having to explore a lot and you just want to mainline the quest, that's another thing. I think the people who bounced off of it really hard also tried to mainline the game because they need to get a review out. And I'm not accusing them of being trash or anything like that, but I'm just saying I don't think this is the type of game you can mainline and not hit a difficulty spike, because I think it actually, you have to, some people want a game to bend to how they want to play it, but not every game is like that. You know, it's kind of like people who went from Dark Souls to Sekiro and were like, you know, at first I hated Sekiro until I played the game the way it wanted me to play. And then I had a blast. Some games are like that, where, you know, there's this, you know, if you play it the way it wants you to play it, you're going to have a blast, you know. So I think personality is going to play a big part. You know, gamer personality is going to play a big part into whether or not you enjoy this. I'm having a blast so far, but I'm also keeping an open mind. But I mean, I'm enjoying myself. And as far as performance, I'm playing it at 4K DLSS balanced with frame gen on, because I'm using ray reconstruction, and my frame rate is generally in the high 50s to mid, sometimes high 60s. And this was walking through a town with a whole bunch of people walking around. I mean, there were NPCs everywhere, dozens.
Yeah.
And my frame rate at its lowest, my frame rate, I think, hit about 55. And that's full reconstruction, max settings, everything.
It's
But I
very
was on
impressive.
DLSS balanced. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's very
And
impressive.
you compare that to like Dragon's Dogma 2, where when you go into the city, like outside the cities in the wilderness, you be having like triple digit frame rates. And then you go into the city and it's struggling to stay above 60 because of how the RE engine isn't very efficient when it comes to open world games and how it handles all those NPCs. With Pearl
Well,
Abyss's
actually,
engine.
I just heard how they. Sorry to cut you off. I just heard how they solved the problem. Did you hear about that?
I know how the PC gamers solved the problem. They
That's what I
started
meant. The
killing
PC gamers.
NPCs. Yeah, they
Well,
started
no,
killing
no, no, no. It
NPCs.
wasn't. Apparently, it was the same fix with Monster Hunter Wilds. Some modders I stumbled across the fix because apparently the system was checking for DLC constantly, and one of the modder bought some DLC because he just bought some DLC, and then he noticed that his frame rates jumped significantly. And so then they did some digging, and they found out that it was actually constantly checking for DLC, even if if
But
you didn't have
that
the
would have been a
DLC.
different problem. That would have affected performance, and then I think I did hear about that because some people was like, oh, so I gotta buy a DLC to get
Got to
better
pay for
performance.
more frames.
But would it that would have affected you out in the wilderness as well as in the cities in Dragon's Dogma 2. But specifically in the cities, it would like basically cut your frame rate in half. And what people figured out is that the scripts, they had like very detailed scripts for all the NPCs. You got random NPCs going through an entire day's schedule of things. And all that scripting, the CPU has to take into account. And so that's what was kind of slowing the CPU down. Your GPU is waiting for the instructions of what to render from the CPU, but the CPU is too busy trying to figure out what the schedule was for that random NPC that's buying some melons at a stall somewhere. And it's just like, people's like, nah, I don't care what Lisa is doing with these melons. Decapitation. Started just straight killing everybody that isn't important, and they started seeing their frame rates go up. And the reason why I even brought that up is because I don't see, like in the city, my frame rate did not fall at all. So
Nope.
they definitely have a more efficient engine for open world stuff, which makes sense because Black Desert,
It's
this
fantastic.
big massive MMO, they had a very pretty game running that with everything that was going on with that too. So look, long story short, we need more time in it, but if you're enjoying it, good. If you're not, sorry.
Good.
You
Yeah,
guys ready for this? Okay, go ahead. You got something else to add?
I'll just say one last thing is if you're super sensitive to like, visual stuff like pop in and stuff like that, give it maybe a couple of weeks. If that's not that big a deal to you, like for me, I obviously don't like it, but I can have tolerance for stuff like that. It's a big, huge, massive world with a bunch of stuff going on. So I can deal with that. And then when they patch it out, it'll be even better. If you're not super, super sensitive to that kind of stuff, I mean, based on everything we said, especially if you're on PC, you can give it a try and give it 2 hours, and then you'll see because you can return it, right? So, but yeah, I'm happy with it so far, but it's definitely I don't think going to be for everybody.
You want people to waste 2 hours of their time playing that game? Got it.
No,
Yep.
look.
That's exactly what I said. I want people to waste 2 hours of their life to play that game, Forte. Now that you in snark
not let
mode?
him bait you. Don't let him bait you.
Oh no, I know what he's doing. I know exactly what he's doing because he does it every week.
If you like exploration, it might be a game that you're in for. If you like the golden path things, this is definitely not going to be a jam for you.
If you like to go to sleep, this is definitely the game for you.
Anyway,
Yeah.
let's get into this Nvidia topic, and I think look, what I'm going to say is not going to be very popular, but I'm gonna say it anyway. But I'll give the whole rundown before we start discussing the ins and outs of what's been going on. So Nvidia has been under fire from literally everyone, it seems, since earlier this week when they revealed in a presentation DLSS 5, the latest version of DLSS that's coming out this fall. And it's a lot of people don't seem to like it. It's they're showing what they were calling like photo real lighting and shadows in games, and showing a complete change to games that are already out. They showed in their very small presentation, they showed that was like there were actually people there too. There was content creators that were there as well as Digital Foundry, who is in hiding right now.
They definitely hiding.
But they ain't hiding. Yeah, because Digital Foundry was gushing about this thing in their initial video, and then they got the backlash, and then they put out an apology video saying, "No, we don't like this. We hate it." And it's just like, what is it, Digital Foundry? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What is it? What is it? So, essentially, the whole gaming world community hates it, and is calling it AI slop, and it's just the Instagram filter, that kind of thing. Nvidia has punched back, saying that gamers are wrong, that this presentation that featured like Resident Evil Requiem, Hogwarts Legacy, Starfield, Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered, Assassin's Creed Shadows, EAFC Sports, what they were doing isn't just an AI filter. It is let me find the exact wording of it.
There, don't misquote them.
Well, no, I mean, I want to make sure that I'm saying what the technology is doing accurately. They're using, and they said this last year, they were switching to neural rendering, and they say that what they're doing is real-time neural rendering that's infusing pixels with photoreal lighting, and they're taking the 3D data from the game, and they're reading it and then applying the realistic lighting itself. Now, path tracing does that as well, but what this is doing is using generative AI to then increase the amount of details and shadows and stuff like that. And a lot of people are not liking it. They're thinking that, they're saying that some of these characters don't even look like the character that it originally was before DLSS 5 got his hands on it. In addition to that, it looks well. You know what? I'll save this part because this is part kind of where my opinion on it kind of comes in. Logic. What are your thoughts about DLSS 5 and this whole controversy?
I don't know that I really
Okay,
have thoughts about DLSS 5 so much, as much as I do about the controversy. I just feel the controversy is very unnecessary, and misguided. I have people. I'm going through my timeline now. I have people on my timeline who I know are only on console. Only on console.
Mm-hmm.
They will not have access to DLSS 5.
So they're hating.
But they're up in
Insane.
arms writing dissertations and theses about why this is a problem. So like I have numerous problems with just the approach on the argument.
Facts.
It's been generative AI since DLSS 1. That is what it is.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
So if you're up in arms about it now, then you either didn't understand, weren't paying attention, or you're just part of the outrage culture, just making up BS for something to be angry about. Like there were two things to be angry about this week before Crimson Desert came out. Well, and before Ubisoft closed Red Storm, right? You had two things to be angry about. You could be angry about the WB laying people off, or you could be angry about DLSS 5. So I guess most people just went after DLSS 5 because like, why be angry at WB? Because there's no more blood to draw out of that turnip, right? So I'm like, so here's my problem is, if you had a problem with generative AI, then I would expect that I can go to your profile and I can find you complaining about DLSS since 2018. Number one. Number two, I expect that I can go to your timeline and see you complaining about both DLSS and FSR because both of them are generative AI.
Mm-hmm. And don't think for a second that AMD is not going to follow suit at some point.
Exactly, because what does AMD always do? They always copy.
They always follow NVIDIA. They always copy NVIDIA.
They're trying to implement features at parity. Like it may take them a while. It may be, and it's usually via some different type of methodology, but they will absolutely they will copy this, in some way and implement some alternative and put it in their pipeline. The slippery slope with this is, and I've talked to some people, and some people have said, it's, I get that, it was generative AI, it's been generative AI the whole time. I haven't been complaining about DLSS and FSR, but the problem I have is that it's a threshold. Like now it's a drumbeat too far, and I'm like, I understand that, but what I would say is, like, then you need to understand what problem that presents for people making decisions, people on the development side. A big thing that I always say in development is like, I can't do anything with like ambiguous, amorphous feedback. And while you might say in this instance, like, DLSS 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4.5, okay, but oh my God, here comes DLSS 5. Now it's a bridge too far. I'm like, okay, but like you say that, but like the next person, do they say that? Like, where is the line? And the line's gonna constantly move. The other problem I have is I mentioned PC Potato Nation earlier before. Same thing. Tons of PC people out complaining about this, making a lot of noise, who are on Potato Pumpkin Patch GPUs. Yet again, they will not have access to DLSS 5. So,
Right.
and one person was like, oh, well, it's going to propagate forward and these things will always be in there. I'm like, yes, and those guys will always be behind.
Right.
Because they don't buy new GPUs.
And by the time it's like a standard, it's going to be so good that you're not going to complain. Like upscaling. Like remember when everyone was like, "Oh no, I'm native resolution gang over here. I will never use an upscaler." That's so wrong. Fake frames. And they're all using it now because DLSS quality looks better than native resolution with temporal anti-aliasing on. So now it's okay. you're completely, all that integrity you had a good 3 years ago out the window. You're turning all that stuff on and frame gen because you realize that frame gen does not have a hit on latency like it did initially. It got better, and now there isn't the hit on latency. And it is funny because when you see the criticism and then you look into detail on things, you be like, wait a minute. And actually, I'm very disappointed with some of the tech tubers that I've seen that have just kind of jumped on the hate bandwagon. And I know what it is. They're afraid of their community. They're afraid of the people
I know what you're talking about. I saw it
that
too.
bring the views in. And so they are capitulating to them and acting as if they ain't got a brain in their head when I see to be way more intelligent than this in order to basically monetize this, make multiple videos talking about it. And it's just, you're just kind of inciting a hate mob while knowing that this is going to be this is just another advancement. The same way I remember back in the day when they showed off ray tracing for the first time and the gaming community lost their mind. Oh my, why do we have to have photorealism? Why do we have to have ray tracing? Look at the hit to the performance. This isn't worth it. Stop using ray tracing. The worst thing in the world to happen is ray. I heard the same crap.
I've seen people say I hate ray
About
tracing
screen
and turn it
space
off even if there's
reflections.
not a performance hit, and I'm like, you're
Yeah,
on AMD,
look,
dude.
look, right, yeah, typically. But like, it's just like people were saying the same stuff about older advancements in technology back in like 2011. Like
Let me
y'all keep doing this where you demonize new technology as if like y'all are
That's
like
because they can't afford it, SloMo.
they're like Amish gamers.
They can't afford it. That's what it
Technology
is.
bad. Like they're churning
Did you
butter
just
with their
say Amish
PCs.
gamers?
Yeah,
Dude,
man. Like
listen.
you churning
Let me tell you.
butter with your
Let me
PC
tell
over
you.
here, and everything new that comes out, you go, ew, no, not that, no, not
Listen,
that.
I was one of
And
those.
then they
Listen,
finally get it when they can afford it.
Listen, that's my biggest thing. I think people just can't afford it, so they want to talk crap about it. Because guess what? I was one of those people. It's like, what? It's something I remember telling you all the time. Why are we paying for performance hits in games? I was like, so you gave me a feature that takes my frame rate, that takes my performance. That is asinine. That is garbage. I was so against it, and then I got GPUs that allowed me to do it and not really see minimum hits to my frame rate. And then I was like, yo, this is actually really good.
You bought a place inside the gated community. That's why I just told
Exactly.
Brap is getting his PC with
Yeah,
the 50 ADs
exactly.
on an 80 class card now. I'm like, Brap, you understand you inside the gated community now.
Yeah.
You're not out here,
Well,
you're not out here in the subdivision anymore.
Yeah, I get
Welcome.
it. Listen, all subdivisions are not the subdivision. So I
Now
get it.
actually, I'm gonna go last. Logic. Please finish, and then
Yeah.
I wanted to hear Forte and then Ramon's point.
So-
Go ahead. Finish.
I'm gonna try and finish, but I also didn't comment on a lot of the previous topics because I knew this was coming. So I think Forte brings up a very good point, and I think it's I understand that some people are gonna be mad about me saying this, but over the years since you guys brought me into the fold of the YouTube Twitter circle, which for decades before I'd stayed outside of, there is very much so a Marxist, socialist, anti-capitalist movement that is sort of like a class battle amongst all of the platforms. But in particular, this one, Forte is right. It's look, and I get it. Like, there's some validity in the fact that over the last few years, people who grew up with like the $500 GPU, they've been priced out, and they're mad. And I kind of get that. But Forte's right. There's very much there are people who are yelling and shouting about this who will not be on for RTX 5000 GPUs, who are like, tear it down, burn it down. And I'm like, dude, you guys won't have access to this.
Doesn't affect you.
And they're mad because, and I'm using this as a metaphor and analogy. I don't really mean it this way, but they're mad because there is something that is going to be made available to the rich, and they won't have it. And that's what they're largely angry about. the thing you brought up about ray tracing, I similar thing, right? Like, I mean, first of all, we used to make video games with polygons, right?
We used to.
But the thing about ray tracing, like all of these methodologies and things that come into the rendering pipeline, like they're all computational lifts, and an artist cannot render in lighting what ray tracing does, because as human beings, we aren't 100% accurate about all the lighting sources in a given scene in an environment. The developers get a computational lift. A video game at the end of the day is not simply an artistic vision solely by itself. It is an artistic vision with computational lift. That is what separates a video game from a sculpture or a painting. So to act like, oh my God, they're adding a piece of technology to the artistic vision that they're changing. Yes, that's what video games are. They are alterations of an artistic vision based on computational lift. So that's not new. So again, you guys are running around grousing about things that are fundamentally not new. At the end of the day, this is my biggest feeling about it. This is, quite frankly, and I will say, Nvidia screwed it up. I don't know how it got out of the presentation that they gave. I guess because you said, content creators were there, which I'm just going to say it. Influencers and content creators should stop being invited to tech demos. Largely, they do a crappy job covering it. I mean, I said it about GDC. There was a 30-minute presentation on Project Helix. That's all anybody reported out of that thing. They reported none of the presentations about Unreal Engine 5 and performance. They reported none of the things about black challenges in video games. They reported none of the things of that Ben Porter reported, who's the Newzoo consultant who put out the State of the Industry of 2026. They didn't report on that or the panel that he's all of these things that gamers fundamentally misunderstand and spend all day spewing nonsense about on Twitter. None of them reported any of that. All they reported about was Project Helix, which was a 30-minute presentation, which said absolutely nothing. So I don't know why they needed to go to this. But my thing is quite frankly, and I'm including myself in this pool, this isn't a problem for us to solve. This is a problem for developers to work out with Nvidia.
Yep.
And the way this is going to work is Nvidia is gonna release it. They're gonna roll it into their SDK. It's gonna go to the developers, and the developers are gonna decide how to use it, and they're gonna decide how to implement it, and they're gonna decide how to tune it. You got Todd Howard saying that they're gonna use it. You got other developers saying that they're gonna use it. I have people constantly, adding me on Twitter with this developer who said this that's negative about it, and this developer said like for every one of these things that you guys said to me, I could go find another developer who said something positive about it. So this is I gotcha. Just let the developers work it out with Nvidia. And at the end of the day, the developers are going to have control of it. They're going to implement it. They're going to decide whether or not to have it on or have it off or have it available in their video game. Mm-hmm. And it will be their artistic vision because they made that decision. And if you still don't like it, even after all of that, you can turn it off.
Facts.
You use DLSS 4 and DLSS 4.5.
That is the trump card right there, is that you can turn it off. But people apparently don't care.
You don't even have to use it.
They don't want you to use it is the issue.
Yeah.
It's not about them. They don't want anyone else to use it. So it's like they want to dictate how other people play the game. I may have to skip the line here real quick just because I look and shout out to Joe in the chat. He's expressing his opinion. We're all very, very reasonable and respectful here. So I respect Joe's opinion in the chat. He feels a different way about it, and that's fine. But I just want to kind of explain here that, and I'm gonna be as objective as possible, because some of this is going to be smoke to people who kind of put the blinders on and they hate everything AI, and so they go after anything that's AI related without actually thinking it through. And then I'm also going to go after Nvidia, because Nvidia incited and created this issue all on their own volition. And this is so typically with Nvidia, you don't see the new DLSS thing or the new technology that they're working on, the new advancements and innovations, until it's ready. You don't see it until it's about to launch in a few weeks with a new piece of hardware that's supposedly be able to handle it. Nvidia is not releasing the 6000 series card this year, but they're still releasing DLSS 5.
Yep.
And so for some odd reason, they decided to do this presentation of DLSS 5 6 months before it's supposed to launch on hardware that it was not intended to be its most efficient on. You had to have two 5090s to run this presentation. And when you get into the weeds of the presentation, I'm not talking about the faces because that's irrelevant. I'm talking about the image stability, which was not there. Did you notice in their presentation, every game they showed, they only showed 2 seconds?
Yep.
Except for, but in the one time they didn't show 2 seconds with EA FC Sports, that's where you see why they only showed 2 seconds of the other games. The soccer ball is disappearing, disintegrating and reintegrating. The features, the guy's left arm when he's running to do the slide is disappearing. This is why they did, and that's the best they could do. That's the best they could show. It's not ready for prime time. And it's not ready for prime time, and it can't run on one GPU right now. So what does that mean when this thing comes out this fall? This is RTX 2000 all over again, where the 2000 series cards could not handle ray tracing. And so when you turned it on, it tanked your performance. And so most people turned it off. And with this thing, this DLSS 5, with this specific feature of it, they're going to turn this off. Gamers are going to turn it off because the hardware is not going to be able to handle it. What the best that you're going to be able to get this fall is the 5090 running it with decent performance. But that's it. And so I needed to say that because, and also here's the other smoke I have for Nvidia. I think most of us have played some of the games that are here. Did you notice something? Because I noticed something. The DLSS off screenshots seem oddly low quality. Not just that DLSS is off. Because mostly, for the most part, DLSS is an anti-aliaser.
I thought that was just me. I thought that something was just wrong with me because I did notice that.
That part where they show Grace standing in the street, it looks better on consoles for that part. That's because Nvidia did what they like to do when they do comparisons, is that they put it on a lower quality preset to accentuate DLSS 5 looking even better. Instead of showing these games at their best right now to prove how much better DLSS 5 is. This is why so many people have a big issue with the faces and whatnot, because it's a drastic change from what they're literally showing in front of you. And a lot of these frauds out here ain't play these games, so they don't know what it looks like themselves. But I have played Starfield with max settings. And yeah, the character models ain't that great. They've never been, but they ain't that bad without DLSS. You just have textures on low. You have everything else on low. You got no lighting on Grace's face, which is why when you put lighting on her face, which is all this is doing, is photorealistic lighting. You put lighting that's photorealistic on her face and people say, it's a different person. No, it's not. Let me show you how it's not a different person. Whoops. And I thought I had it up. Where is it? Bam.
Lobo dropped it.
Look at this. Look at this screenshot. There's another YouTuber. His name, I think he's a Brazilian YouTuber. I forgot his name, but I'll try to put the link of his video in the chat. He did a comparison of max settings ray tracing, max settings path tracing, and in the screenshot they showed the DLSS 5. All side by side. If people saw this, there will be nobody saying they yassified Grace's face. They changed Grace's face. Look at the screen. There is no change to her face whatsoever. The only change is that it's better lighting. And you're seeing how ray tracing is unrealistic lighting. And when the guy posted this on Twitter, people was like, I prefer the ray tracing. It's because you have been brainwashed to thinking that ray tracing, shiny is good. So that's why a lot of people prefer the ray tracing, even though path tracing is far more accurate lighting, but it's not as shiny, so people don't prefer it. But you see the level of quality in her face compared to that first little scene in the street where she's got no detail to her face, no textures to her face, and even when people zoomed in, you see her eyeballs got no texture whatsoever, no lighting. This is the Nvidia okie doke, and it backfired on her. Because people didn't go, wow, look how much better DLSS 5 is. They said, you're completely changing these characters' face. But they're not. Here's the proof that they're not. These are from that ray tracing and path tracing is from the actual game. Look at the shape of her chin, the shape of her lips, her eyes, her nose. It's all the same. It's just different lighting. That's all it's doing. And people are inferring things on the technical level that they don't understand because this is new technology. There are people, tech tubers, who are saying, oh, well, it's doing this or that. Really? Are you an NVIDIA engineer? Did you create this tech? Because it's theirs. So the whole idea that it's change, it's creating content, is destroying the artistic integrity of the devs. The devs have the option to use this. I saw Daniel Owen have a conversation with Freeman, one of the engineers at Nvidia, and through email, and he showed the emails, and he said, he asked point blank, at this point in time, can developers modify, like, if I don't want this character to have makeup, can I take the makeup off but still keep the lighting? And he said, no, they can't do that right now. Okay, if the developer feels with this on, it's not reaching the artistic integrity of what we want to do in this scene, they'll turn it off. Why? Because they're the freaking developer. You got Insider Gaming out here. Yeah, I'm gonna give them a little smoke. Sorry, Insider Gaming. You're getting a little smoke. Saying, hey, devs, let me know what you guys think about DLSS 5. And then in their article, they said, well, I spoke to devs of Bethesda and Capcom and what was the other one? It was Bethesda, Capcom, and Ubisoft, who said they didn't know anything about this until it was shown to everyone. So when Nvidia said that the devs signed off on it, which devs, Insider Gaming? Do you think freaking Assassin's Creed Shadows was made by like 1,000 people? You think they went and told all 1,000 of them they were doing this? Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Put two brain cells together. Does that make sense? It would have been revealed in leaks all over the internet before it actually came out that they were doing this. So they did talk to devs, just the important ones who make decisions. Sorry if you got left out. And when you see Todd Howard sign off on it, then yeah, the lowly artist at Bethesda who's working on Elder Scrolls right now, he don't get a say. And so they're going to do it. AMD is going to do it. They're not going to reverse it. Y'all can complain all y'all want, but freaking Nvidia has been working on this neural rendering pipeline for the past 2.5 years. They have spent too much money on it to reverse it over outrage culture. So they're going to keep telling you, you got it wrong, you don't understand, you'll get over it. And what's going to happen is you got it wrong, you don't understand, and you're going to get over it. And by 2028, you're going to be turning it on in your games and going about your happy way and pretending like all this stuff you were doing in 2026 didn't exist and didn't happen. Because the technology will get better, as it always does, and it's going to be more accurate and more than just a 2-second clip. And again, I will go back to say NVIDIA should have never showed this. If you can't show more than 2 seconds accurately, you are wasting everyone's time, including your own. And if you got to have a 5090, a PC rig on the floor with two 5090s in it to run 2 seconds of this, what are y'all doing? Y'all don't show your technology like this. You should have showed this in August when it was ready. It's saying it's going to get released in October in the next firmware update. Mileage may vary because it will. If you got a 5070, my 4080 Super, I'm not even going to attempt it. I'm not even going to turn it on. I already know what's going to happen. My 4080 Super is going to be like, are you kidding? Who do you think I am? I'm not running that. Not with at 60 FPS, I'm not. So I'm not even going to bother. But what people have done this for so long. They did it with path tracing. They did it with ray tracing. They did it with frame generation. They did it with DLSS 1.0. They continue to complain about any advancements in technology, especially if it deals with AI. And if you don't get it, Logic was right. DLSS 1 was using AI. What do you think machine learning is? It's always been like this since freaking 2017. We are 9 years later and y'all still falling for the okie doke. Just relax. It's going to get better. When it gets better, y'all won't be complaining. The devs' artistic vision is not going to be hampered because they're going to be the ones that's implementing it. It's going to be okay, y'all. So I'm off my soapbox. Sorry I had to pull an audible. Forte, your thoughts, man.
Oh, hold on. Before Forte jumps in, because this is a question for you, SloMo, but Ramon and Forte too. You mentioned the thing about like the cards not coming out. What if, and this is a question, what if we've been told, which is that there are also no supers coming this year, is not accurate, and Nvidia is actually going to put out supers, even if it's just one SKU or two, in the fall? Because
I think the architecture is so. I think the entire this 5000 series generation architecture just can't handle it. So even if you do a super, like they only be like they add a few more CUDA cores. They may overclock it a little bit. So sometimes they may add more VRAM to a particular model. It's not going to be I don't think it's going to be a big enough leap to make this like perform great. I think it's probably just going to be just decent on the 5090, but everything else below that, people are going to be turning it off. That's my opinion. But like, I feel like this is something, if you really think about it, Nvidia always kind of releases their new generation of cards in the fall of a year. And it would have been, if everything wasn't as insane with technology as it is right now, this fall is when they would have been releasing a 6000 series generation cards. I feel like this was intended for the 6000 series cards that could run this well. And because they're not releasing those yet, we're going to be trying to run it on 5000 series. And it's going to be like running frame generation on when they put out frame generation on and trying to run that on the 3000 series. It didn't work out that great. But that's just my opinion. We'll see. But my bad, I cut you off, Logic. Go ahead and finish.
No, that's all I was going to ask. Just because I feel like you put something like this out this early, it just doesn't make sense unless you're releasing new cards. It makes far more sense if you're gonna release a new card. And like I said, with the restrictions this year, even if it's just one SKU or two SKUs. I mean, because what we've heard is that those cards have been engineered and they're at the AI, they're at the board partners. And in fact, they were at one point, the board partners were told to spool up and get ready to do the integration and put the products together, but then they were told to stand down. So I just wonder if they're going to push some out this year to kind of keep the revenue cycling, and this would be a reason to get people right, to get developers, aware of DLSS 5 and stuff, because there would be new product to go along with the rollout. But I don't know.
When you say new product, Logic, are you talking about the supers or the 6000 series?
I'm talking about supers. So I'm
Super.
postulating
Okay.
that, do they push out a 5070 super, 5080 super, in the fall,
So
along with the DLSS 5 rollout?
even if they did, I'd be pretty shocked if, like SloMo said, anything below a 5090 will be able to handle it. Considering we're in March, this is supposed to roll out in, what is it, August? Is it supposed to roll out? And it took two 5090s to produce 2 seconds of footage per game. By the time they get all that tied down, I would be really surprised if anything below like a 5090 would be able to run it. Even a 5080 super, I would be surprised if it could run it at anything approaching 60 frames per second, given where it's at.
Dude, that is all I needed to see when I was watching that trailer, watching that video, and I said it to SloMo. As soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh!" I said, "Bro," he said, "We're running DLSS on 5 on one 5090." And then they showed a picture of the system. And I was like, bro, there are 2 of them. So you're running the game off one and running DLSS 5 off the other one. I was like, bro, this thing's cooked. As soon as I saw that, bro, I was like, first of all, we are already looking at the prices of these things. So you telling me 5090s, you can't get them for less than like $3,000. And that's if you go on that's if you go on the cheap end. The ones they had in that PC, the RTX, I think those were the strict ones. That's a $5,000 GPU, and you got 2 of them. I'm like, bro, everything y'all saying is absolutely correct. I try to give them the benefit of the doubt on the fact that I understand that technology, they want to put technology out there, and it's going to get better over time. That's the thing. And that's the thing I don't agree with when it comes to like everybody being up in arms, because Logic said it best. We've been doing frame gen ever since, as soon as when 2080s were out and they came out with the 3000 series and we had frame gen, people were like, oh, okay. We had this for like the last 5 or 6, 7 years now at this point. So this is nothing new. It's just that people are looking at this and like I just truly believe people just can't afford what it is they're seeing. And so they have to like follow their favorite content creator that's hating on it. And then they want to hate on it too, because, oh, a like-minded individual like me. So I have to complain too, because that's how all this whole merry-go-round happens. One person gets upset, then another person agrees with them being upset. And then they say, oh, I want to be upset too. It still doesn't matter. It still matters to the fact that I don't know why Nvidia keeps putting out this tech, knowing that they can't run it sufficiently across the platform that it's out on. Now, I never thought about the fact that, yeah, we would be in a year where the 6000 series will be coming out. Because what they ended up doing last time before they made DLSS, I think 3 available on the 3000 series cards, it was already on the 4. And then they made it possible to be used on the 3. And they said, well, we're going to unlock it on 3s. But that was like a year and a half later.
Yeah. They had to optimize it so that it was capable to run on 3000 series cards. This is why I was telling Logic that it's the architecture of this specific generation that is the reason why it's going to hold it back. Because if you remember, like people went out and bought $2,000 3090 Ti's, right?
Yep.
And then that was in a March of, I think, 2022. And then
2022, yeah.
later that year in October is when they dropped the 4090.
And everybody that bought 3090s was pissed.
Right. Because then you're seeing the 4070 trading blows with the 3090 Ti because the architecture was that much better. And when you're running all this software they got, all this technology they got, and the 3090 Ti is trying to brute force its way to the same performance, but it ain't keeping up.
And
that's how technology advances.
I agree.
I think let's we bring up frame gen, and look, and Joe in the chat makes a good point that Nvidia has a propensity. I said that word wrong.
Propensity.
Propensity,
Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't say it, but they have to bend the truth, to tell lies, right? But
right.
typically, if you want to be fully accurate about it, it's not their engineers that are doing the lying. It's their CEO Jensen getting up with that leather jacket in the summer in California on stage, and he'll say something dumb like the 5070 is going to match the performance of a 4090. But what he meant was a 4090 with everything turned off, with frame gen off, compared to a 5070 with multi-frame generation on, with DLSS on, and all that other stuff. That was BS. And anyone who was had their head around PC knew it as soon as he came out his mouth. Oh, he capping. Ain't no way that 5070 is going to match that 4090. Not with the specs you just showed up for it. Not happening. And if you remember when they first showed off frame generation, I remember this like it was yesterday. Nvidia used to show charts, right? They would show these charts. And again, this is back when, as I said, they should have never revealed this now. They should have waited until like they had it better optimized. They had their machine learning was working better on this, that everything that they're doing with the neural rendering pipeline was more mature to show this. This would have been like August or September where they should have showed it, but they still would have did some of this other tomfoolery like they did with FrameGen, where they had these charts and they would show you your GPU running Cyberpunk with no FrameGen on, with everything, no bells and whistles, just native resolution. And it'll be like the best GPU on the market. It was getting like 36 frames per second. And then on the other part of the graph, they would have FrameGen on, and they would have using DLSS performance mode. And then it would be like 180 frames per second. People's like, oh my God, this new GPU is getting 5 times the frames. But you look in the little small text, can't even read it. You're going to have to blow that thing up. 500 zoom to see in the small text, this GPU is running DLSS performance with frame generation on. This GPU isn't running anything on. It's just, it is the okie doke. But this time it backfired on them, because they tried to do this to boost up DLSS 5, but all it did was make people think you out here giving us Instagram filters and giving Grace, like silicone lips, and we not having it. And it's just like, and now they're trying to say, no, it's the technology isn't doing any of that stuff. And it's not, but your marketing puts you in a bad position. Because if you would have just did what this screenshot on the screen is doing, showed these games in the very best they could possibly look. Show Resident Evil Requiem with path tracing on, with ultra settings at 4K with the best it can possibly look. and put that beside DLSS 5. And you see the results. DLSS 5 looks better because it's got more accurate lighting. It looks better. You didn't have to try to show Grace looking like it was running on Unreal Engine 3 on a Xbox 360. You didn't have to do that. But you tried it, and now people just think, oh, that's the way the game should have looked, and look at this other nonsense you done put in front of me. And so you get what you got. You get people calling you a liar. You get people saying you out here trying to AI filter all of our games. You got people out here defending the honor of a digital character. Like, I don't understand the people who somehow have an emotional attachment to Grace. Think y'all need to go get a girlfriend or a body pillow or something. I don't know what y'all need to do. Y'all need to figure that out. It's weird, but it's just now you get the weirdos giving Digital Foundry death threats because they said they liked it. You got Alex, Battaglia, and all them staring into the screen like they're about to cry.
They deserve the smoke though for that, because you can't come out of this Digital Foundry and say that you gloat about how good it was and everything, and then the moment the internet turns on it and say, oh, we don't like it either. So they do get smoked for that. I mean, I don't agree with them coming for them. I don't agree with the way people are coming at them for it, but they deserve that.
I think they deserve the smoke for capitulating to the mob. If you liked it, stand on your own one shoe. I said I liked it. And if you're gonna send me death threats, come see me at home. Like, I dare you to show up. I bet you don't leave your mama's basement, but you talking about giving me death threats.
Well, they ain't built like you. They ain't built like us, SloMo, so they ain't gonna say that. But your general sentiment definitely is on point.
Just stand on your word. You liked it. You think the tech is good, and it's going to be fine. You didn't have to go, well, we did not. Now that I see it, after my 30th look of it, I do think they did change this. It's just, no, bro. Come on, man. I've been talking too much. My bad. Forte, you went right. You said your thoughts on it, right?
I sure did.
Ramon, have you said your thoughts on it fully?
No.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
No, yours. So I had gotten a cursory look at it when we talked about it on Blue Sky, and I liked it. I liked what I saw and some things I didn't like. And then when I looked at it again, I was like, okay, this looks good, this looks bad. This looks bad, this looks good. It wasn't 100% one way or the other. And I've not played Resident Eagle. I've not played Resident. There's got to be a story in there somewhere. I've not played Resident Evil Requiem, but I remember looking at Grace, and I'm like, is that the way she normally looks? Because I remember looking at it, and I was like, it doesn't look. Like, it looks okay, but it doesn't look that great to begin with. So I remember frowning, looking at the original image, thinking, I thought the game looked better than that. So when you said that, then that made it click that Nvidia was trying to, kind of pull a little bit of a fast one, because I was like, I don't like that they added makeup to her face, but I do like the lighting change, the way it made her hair look. I like that, but I didn't like how it looked like they gave her makeup and yada, yada, yada. And then, the Starfield one was really bad, especially when the image started, when the character was moving. It just didn't look great to me. But then there was an environmental shot that looked great, and so I was just like, I was looking at it, I was like, it was like, I was just picking and choosing, like, okay, I like the way that looks. I don't like the way that looks, so it's gray area. It's not black and white. And then what I did like was the potential that it represented. It's like, okay, this is what can be done. This can give AA and indie developers that little extra leg up, where they can get something that can, punch above its weight. These are all tools, and these tools are going to improve. So I was thinking about it from that standpoint. And then when I saw the mass hate online, I was like, am I bugging? You know what I mean? So I just went and looked again, and I'm like, okay, I can see some of the things that don't seem like they look great, but I'm like, why is everybody like this up in arms about it? And then when we spoke and you said, well, no, this is going to be 50 series, we're not going to be able to use this. Like I shrugged and I was just like, oh, okay, well, I ain't got to worry about it anyway. You know what I mean? Like I
Well,
stopped.
to be the guy, I think the lead engineer, I forgot his first name, but his last name is Freeman. Sorry to interject again, but he did
Yeah.
say someone asked him on Twitter after one of his posts and said, "Is this just for 5,000 series?" And he said they were. I don't want to misquote him. I'm trying to get it the right phrasing. That they hadn't determined that yet. So it appears that they're going to attempt to try to get this on 4,000 series cards. And I saw something else that said that a limited version of DLSS 5 would be on 4,000 series cards. So I maybe, but
Okay.
but but
Well,
but for myself personally, I know how hard it is to run right now, and we're talking 6 months from now. You're gonna get it good enough that it's gonna run good on a 4,000? No. So I don't care if I still have this 4080 Super. By then, I'm not turning the thing on, and I'm definitely not gonna have a 5090. So like, yeah, I'm not
yeah, and
messing with it.
I have the same GPU as you, and I'm not going to even bother. I mean, I'm seeing how my GPU is sweating running rake reconstruction with frame gen and everything, on DLSS balanced on Crimson Desert. So I mean, I'm not even thinking about DLSS 5, but like I just the fox and the sour grapes thing of people hating on things that they can't have. If some of that is going on, that's really a shame because I think people are, and just I'll put one foot on the soapbox. I think it's a shame because people are kind of losing sight on what's important. Like the fact that we can own these rigs and play these games at this fidelity and everything that we have, like people need to be happy with what they have, man. I mean, it's nice to want something better or something more, but everyone, most of us, we have limits. We have resource limits. I can't go out and buy a 5090, but I'm very happy with my 4080 Super and I'm happy with my PS5 and my Switch 2. And if I can't run DLSS 5, then I can't run DLSS 5, but I can run DLSS 4 and 4.5, you know? And as far as this I'm stepping off the soapbox, but as far as, all these techniques and everything, like Logic said, DLSS 1 was AI. Everybody was excited about, the Xbox Series X and the PS5 using machine learning. What's machine learning? You know what I mean? Like, all
Right.
those buzzwords everybody was excited about and how they were using, not VRR, but it was VRS. Which one is the one where if you're not, if the
Variable
camera
rate
isn't,
shading.
I think it's that where if the camera isn't facing, it's not rendering where the camera's not looking. But then as soon as you look there, it immediately renders it.
Oh, foveated rendering.
Foveated
That's
rendering. Yeah.
yeah, but I think it's more of a VR thing. That in particular, I've seen that in like this. They
Well,
have that in
it's
PSVR 2, and I think
well, it
the
must be
latest
something.
Meta one, and
I think it's
yeah.
something to do. There was something in the consoles as well. I can't think of what it is, but it was something similar to where they're like, or maybe I'm thinking it renders it in lower resolution when it's in the periphery because you're not looking at it there anyway. But the minute you push the stick to go in that direction, it sharpens it really fast. Maybe that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah,
Is it it
that's
sharp?
foveated rendering. That's foveated
Okay.
rendering. I'm fairly certain that's foveated rendering. That's what the technology does. But I'm just saying that it may be used outside of VR, but I know that like
Definitely, because the PS5
the more
VR2 I
expensive,
was talking
yeah,
about
the
it.
more expensive VR headsets
Have
have
that,
that
yeah,
feature available. Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
look,
But
man,
so I
I
mean,
don't
it's
want to. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead and
no, I was
finish.
just gonna say you know, pe- I don't the whole outrage and everything. People get outraged over stuff that I don't can't even understand why you're getting outraged. If you don't like it, don't use it. If you like it, use it. If it looks like trash to you, you're like, man, that looks like garbage. And then go on about your business. You're like, man, I ain't using that. Like
Yeah.
there are so many things in the world to get upset about, and you getting upset because an upscale technique that you may or may not have access to is something that you don't like when all you have to do is just not use it. Like how old are these people? Like I don't know. I don't understand it. I just can't understand getting angry about something like this when nobody's forcing you to use it.
Yeah, there's another screenshot I saw on Twitter where someone had you know how like these games have a face model, so like they may not be like the person that's in the mocap suit mocapping everything, but they scan a particular model's face and say we're going to use this face for this character in the game. And so for example, Abby in The Last of Us Part 2 had two different actresses. There's the actual mocap actress that did the mocap, and then there was the face actress who they scanned the face, and that's the face you see on the body. Well, for Grace, the character in Resident Evil Requiem, there's a I saw this on Twitter. There is a people showed a side by side of the actual face actress for that character and the two side by shots of DLSS off, which was using as we already talked about lower settings in DLSS 5. And the DLSS 5 version looks more like the actual woman they used the face scan than the lowered setting DLSS off version that they showed in the video. So it's just, I think it's a lot to do about nothing, and it's still kind of new right now. There'll still be a lot of people trying to generate outrage off of this, and they're going to do it, you know, because they got views to get on their videos and whatnot. But there's going to come a point in time. It may not be when it comes out, you know, when it first comes out later this year. It may not be next year, but in 2028 or something like that, what they're doing, what their newer rendering, and how DLSS, which isn't just anti-aliasing now, it's a whole suite of features and that they provide for developers now. When it's more mature, no one's going to complain about this stuff anymore. And why do I know that? Because we've seen this play out multiple times. We've seen all the outrage that people have had for these things time after time, and a lot of the same people making videos about it now. We're complaining and saying I'll never turn on upscaling, but they do.
Yeah, look at them now.
Yeah, look at them now.
Well, because
Let's
it
do
always changes. So I would say it
Yeah.
always
And
changes. So
when I first built my PC, and you know, I thought I had crossed out of the zealotry wars, only to find out that it goes on
it's alive and
between
well.
GPU people. And so I'm seeing the AMD people talking about Nvidia's garbage because you know it can't do native rendering, and then the Nvidia people talk about AMD is garbage because it can't do ray tracing and upscaling. So I'm like, okay, let me see what this is all about. And so obviously in some games there's a difference, but I remember sitting and going back and forth. I can't. I wish I could remember what the game was, but going back and forth between native and DLSS quality, and I was like, in some games, I literally could not tell the difference.
Not
Yep.
you know
Some
what?
games.
Not even some games. For most games right
Most
now,
games, yeah.
Oh yeah,
DLSS
these
quality
days.
transformer model looks better than native resolution with temporal anti-aliasing TAA. That's the before upscaling came in. The best
Yeah.
way to look at a game would be native resolution with temporal anti-aliasing on to smooth out those rough edges. And now at this point, like when DLSS first
Crazy.
came out, it was a blurry mess. 1.0 sucked. You know, it was awful. It didn't do anything that Nvidia said it should have did. It was the way it was implemented in games. It wasn't working great. When they came out with 2.0, it was better. And people said, "Hey, look, it's rendering the game at a lower resolution, and then the machine learning is generating the pixels to make up the difference, and it doesn't look bad. Doesn't look as good as native, but it doesn't look bad." And then it got better, and then they were like, "Wow, there's almost no difference." Now at this point, it looks better than native. For the majority of the games, it looks better than native. You could go look at like Shout Out to Hardware Unboxed. They have done comparison videos of comparing DLSS to FSR and to Intel's XeSS, and comparing native and say which one of these games, which one looks better. And like native is barely winning now. So it's just the technology always advances, and when it gets better is when all the complaints just disappear. It just evaporate in the air. Now everyone's down with it. So it's just a matter of time. That's all.
And there's a little small fringe benefit as well, like a lot of people don't think about. What draws more power, native 4K or 1440p?
Well, we're definitely native.
So
higher
if
everything. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you're playing a game with DLSS quality, which is a native resolution of 1440p, you're drawing less power. I mean, I know that's a small thing, but it's still something.
Yeah.
Like I almost never play anything in native because like the difference is either so minute that it's negligible, or I can't tell the difference at all. And I get higher frame rates, and a higher frame rate looks better anyway, not to mention the latency and everything. And, you know, I mean, I don't like it's just freaking silly. I mean, we have access to the stuff. You can use it or not. You can turn it on or you can turn it off. You literally don't have to use it. Folks just want to be angry. And I don't know why.
They just want to be angry.
But like it's crazy, dude, because like the nicer things get, the more angry people are. And that is just so weird to me. So weird.
Hey, I look, they're Amish gamers, man. They are they
Oh my god.
they're Amish. They want to churn their butter. They don't want a cell phone. They don't want they are the equivalent of Amish when it comes to gaming. They want things to still be 2010, where they were using MSAA for anti-aliasing, which ain't even used as a standard used in any modern game anymore. They liked it better back then.
And the funny thing is, these same
games were
people,
simpler
these,
for them. So
these same people will want these crazy, advanced, huge games in native 4K at 200 frames per second. And we're complaining, like, man, how come the devs are lazy? How come we can't render 4K at like 150 frames per second? It's like, like we're getting to the point where these games are too advanced, dude. They have to be able to.
Yeah, they don't understand how hard that it is for the hardware to come out to be able to accomplish that. That's just, they don't get it.
Yeah, people don't really appreciate how demanding 4K is. 4K is freaking demanding, man. Like,
that's why I don't play at 4K.
Really? You don't play at 4K?
Hell no. 1440. I play at 3K. Nope. 3K. I play at 3840 by 6. I play at 3840 by 1600.
I play at 4K.
Nope. 1440p. Well, 1600p, but no, because I mean, for me, they don't see this is the thing. They don't make ultra wide monitors at 4K. They're either going to be
ultra wide. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're either going to be 3K or 1440p. And I value more real estate in my games, seeing more side to side than the higher resolution. Plus, people don't realize, unless you're maxing out 4K, 1440p looks better if you max it out. Like you get a maxed out 1440p and a compromised 4K are two different things. And I won't say, and I'm not going to say because I know you guys are compromising like that because when I hear people say 14, oh man, 4K this, I was like, bro, okay, are you maxed out 4K? Because that's the only way you're not. That's the only way you're really seeing the difference.
So if you're playing at 4K and the optimized settings just to get 60 FPS, I agree. You're probably better off actually going to 1440p, maxing the settings, because like 1440p is like I would say that's still the sweet spot for a lot of gamers. And 1440p max settings, now you can turn on path tracing. Like you could really enjoy the game that way. For the longest time with Cyberpunk, people were playing Cyberpunk at 1080p.
Yeah, 1080p.
Max everything, psycho ray tracing on before path tracing came out, 1080p.
Yep.
That looked better than playing it at 4K with DLSS performance on, and the road and the reflections looked like the road was boiling because the denoisers didn't work right. So if you lower your resolution and still do all that stuff and see how well that you can like I think some people sometimes need to just, you want to do max everything, but unless you got the top of the line flagship card, you probably can't. So just
and I can't even max everything. I got a 4090, can't even max everything, because it's
second fastest card on the market,
and I can't max everything. I tried, trust me, I tried to max it, and I look at that frame rate, and I'm like, yo. 50 frames? No, I'm good.
I was actually considering experimenting with that with ray reconstruction in Crimson Desert. Maybe trying ray reconstruction with DLSS quality at 1440p with everything maxed out, and then seeing how that looks.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Now, the cool thing with Crimson Desert is that it has, for the options for Nvidia cards, it has DLSS 4.0, 4.5, and
4.5L.
And 4.5L. So you have 3 different options there that you can choose from. And if you 4.5 and 4.5L do I would say, I think the one that's just 4.5 is probably the K mode. That does like really well with if you turn on ray reconstruction. And honestly, with just 4.0 itself, DLSS 4.0 in performance mode is essentially what DLSS 3.5 was in quality mode. That's how much better the transformer model is. This is what I mean when I say that like the technology improves so much over time that you get to the point and it's just like, why wouldn't you have this stuff on? It's not affecting you when frame generation first came out. It was causing all this latency and making games unplayable.
And it made them look worse in some cases too.
Right, because it was ghosting and all kinds of stuff happening in the game. Now
so
you
much
see
better now.
No latency, no ghosting. The technology improves. But let's go ahead and wrap up because I need to. It's already getting late. I don't want to keep you guys for too much longer. Game Logic, you've been kind of quiet. I hope you ain't fall asleep on us, sir. Appreciate you for coming in. Appreciate you for your presence, allowing me to slander Forte for a couple of minutes earlier tonight. Let everyone know where they can find you, sir.
You can catch me on my own channel, the Rounding Off Infinity gaming channel on YouTube. That's where maybe once a week I do kind of like a little solo cast on news topics and other topics in gaming. Or you can catch me on the E2KG Network podcasting channel on YouTube on the Enough to Keep Going show Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Cool, man. And Ramon Terrell.
Yo, you can find me on Blue Sky, and if you like reading any of the fantasy genres, epic fantasy, fantasy humor, urban fantasy, just look me up by my name, Ramon Terrell. You'll see my stuff. Otherwise, yeah, I spend most of my time when I'm online on social media on Blue Sky. So just find me there, Ramon Terrell, and enjoy your games on whatever you're playing them on, and just have fun because that's why we do this.
Ramon, I got to plug you for, because this is my favorite thing to do. I also got to plug you for Arrow Season 1, Episode 10.
Ah, yeah. Also, wasn't it the TV show Angel, Season 1, Episode 1?
Angel? I don't recall that.
This man does so much work. I always tell this story. I'm sitting, I'm chilling, and the wife was watching some cheesy Netflix show, and then I hear a voice, and I'm like, sounds familiar. And I'm looking at the TV, and I'm like, is that Ramon? And I look up, and this Ramon is playing like a deputy yelling at some kid in an interrogation room, and I'm like, he in this too? And I hit him up, and I was like, hey, Ramon, I'm seeing you in this TV show. And he's like, what show is that? What do you mean? What show is that? You don't remember doing this? No. What was the show again? What was I doing? I'm like, are you serious? You don't remember? It's like,
I'm on my man's IMDb page. Oh, also shout out for being in Homeworld 3, the game.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
When I was on Riverdale.
Oh man.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out
a lot of hallmarks.
Go check out this man's IMDb and watch his stuff.
Yeah,
Riverdale out here.
Riverdale, Supernatural, Once Upon a Time, and Arrow.
Yeah, man. The CW and the Hallmark Channel love this man. Loves him. All right. Forte. Let everyone know where to find you, man.
Game Forte, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation. Shout out to Ramon and Logic for coming through and hanging out with us tonight. It's always a great time having you guys here. Really appreciate that. And like everybody else on the podcast said, just play games, man. You know, that's if you're playing on PC, make sure your drivers are up to date. Because y'all be out here complaining about performance and y'all got drivers that's like from like 2023. And y'all ain't updated.
Always check your monitor.
Forte.
You said what?
Always check your monitor, because that'll just flip off when it's on. Always check. Make sure your HDR is on. Make sure your refresh rate is what you think it is. Because Windows and Nvidia, they will just arbitrarily turn that crap off.
Yeah, check
That's
it.
True.
And not saying them to you, and you'll be, unbeknownst to you, you'll be playing at 2560 by 1440 and 60 frames per second.
60 FPS, 60 hertz. Yeah, 60 hertz. Your monitor does 240, but you getting 60 because when you update your drivers, it like resets something. It happens from time to time. It's funny that
turn your game on and you got jaggies.
Forte, when we were about to play, Call of Duty, this man was like,
say it.
They saying my drivers is too old for me to play this.
Yeah, I'm too old to play this.
What
driver are you on?
What driver are you on? He hadn't updated his driver since November.
October.
I'm like, man, it is October. It is March, man. So yeah.
In my defense, I wasn't playing on my PC for like all of the holiday. My daughter took it over. And she don't know nothing. And I had to educate her. I was like, no, you know what made me like think about it was she was playing Resident Evil. I was like sitting there and I was like, I guarantee you there's a patch for this game. And I guarantee you she didn't install the patch for the drivers. And I went in and it's, I was thinking about it and I didn't do it. And then that's when the whole thing with Call of Duty came up. And I was like, oh yeah, I got to update my drivers because I know that they're out of date. But speaking of which, Resident Evil maxed out looks gorgeous.
Not according to Nvidia. Unless you have DLSS 5, it looks like absolute dog.
Listen, I was listen with path tracing on at 1440 at 3840 by 1600. with hair strands on, bro, it looked good. Look good. But you know how it is though. But with that being said, appreciate everybody for coming through. We'll see you guys next week for another episode of the DPS podcast. And once again, thanks to Ramon and Logic for coming through. And great job as always, SloMo.
Hey, well, I do what I can. For myself, I keep saying I'm gonna stream something. I really just I just gotta find the time to because look, when I play games, like stuff be going on with work, kids, everything. Like it ain't like streamer time. You know when you stream and like you have like the streaming audience's undivided attention and you're not being distracted, getting up. Hey, let me go take care of this, and you gone for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, stuff like that. Like I'm trying to find a time where I'm not like that, and it's not like 2 a.m. So I'll figure it out. But my bad on not doing any streams because I said I would. But we'll figure it out. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Appreciate the conversations in the chat. You guys are awesome. If no one has told you, people are awesome. And play some games, touch some grass, without the GR, that is.
I was waiting for that. Somehow I knew that was coming.
Consensually, of course. And we're out, man. Peace.
Later on, y'all.
All right, we're done.